as foreigners make you a minority. Another election, another bust. Go vote for that liar, it's a must. We were given the greatest gift of all, decided to give it up and watch the fall. Yeah, it's just a clown world. We're living in a clown world. Join us in the clown world. It's easy to see that the joke's on you and the joke's on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Owen Report on this Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 transmission. Hope the day finds everybody well. A lot of developments. I think we were a bit ahead of the curve yesterday as far as the response to the peace deal or whatever is being leaked, the details, whatever is being leaked. The response to these details. We were a bit ahead of it yesterday. We do have more of it today. I can't avoid it. I just can't. It's unavoidable. It's the number one issue of our time. And now, once again, the spotlight is on Trump. Every time we reach this moment to decide, is this at this fork in the road now, when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to the Middle East, at this fork in the road, is Trump going to go the neocon route or try something different? In fact, do you remember that was part of his campaign? I think it was 2016. It's like, let's try something different. What do you got to lose? Let's try something different in the Middle East. What have you got to lose? Now, we've got clips from Trump at the G7. Everybody knows, I've been extremely critical of Trump. So I think that this carries a little bit more weight today, considering my harsh criticisms of the Trump administration and Trump himself. I think this carries a little bit more weight today. But I have to say, I am extremely impressed by President Trump right now. The fact that he's on how many days without sleep? I mean, you can see it now. You can see it. You can hear it in his voice. And he's getting up there on the world stage and standing up to the bullies, standing up to the biggest bullies on the planet right now that have shown they will stop at nothing for their agenda. I give Trump credit. And here's the most important part of it to me. This is where I'm coming from. I wonder if you feel the same way. And maybe it's even open phone lines, because it's like, I'm of the mind that I would rather forgive Trump for making a mistake than have to deal with going through this again. So in other words, if we get out of this war and all of the damage is done, whatever it is, I'm just glad to be out of it. I'm just glad to be out of it. And if Trump can get a peace deal done, however they want to package it, whatever victory lap they want to take, I'm not even going to sit here and play Monday morning quarterback. I'm going to say, you know what? He did what I didn't want him to do. I think we can all recognize it was a mistake now. Let's get back on the agenda. And if Trump wants to just, hey, I fucked up. I made a mistake on foreign policy. I tried to work with these guys. They told me one thing. I thought we could get it done. Big mistake. We're going to get it back on. We're going to get it back on track. We're going to get back on track with the agenda, what we ran on, and we're going to have a big surge this summer. I'm willing. I'm willing to say, okay, fine, let's get this thing back on track. Now, I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I don't know where your hope meter is at. My hope meter was showing a little life yesterday, showing a little more life today. That could just be because, anytime you see the foreign lobby and the neocons freaking out, that gives you hope. I mean, these are the most wicked people in the world. In fact, it's so obvious now. This has been the most incredible part, I think, of the Trump administration in 2026. They really have exposed. Again, I always try to explain this. pointing your finger at the Iranian regime or all of the other high ground stuff that you try to do in politics, it's all gone. It's all gone. The neocon Israel lobby coalition looks like the most evil, diabolical force on earth today. You have no high ground. So anytime that coalition is freaking out, anytime that coalition is upset, anytime that coalition feels like they're losing control and they're losing the battle, yeah, that gives me some hope. That gives me a little bit of life. There's a pulse there. There's something there. So I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way today. Maybe it's worthy of phone lines if we can get through all the news. But speaking of the news, that will be most of the news. We're going to have the clips from Trump at the G7. We're going to have more of the responses today. I mean, we did a whole hour documenting it yesterday, but we're not going to spend that much time. We'll revisit it briefly today just to continue to make this point. And then we got some other odds and ends in the news headlines as well. I will just say this. We're going to cover the B-52 bomber. This thing is extremely odd to me. And there's some other plane crashes that have happened that aren't making the news. It was a caller that scooped me. It was a super chat, I think, yesterday that said, "Hey, did you see the B-52 bomber crash in California?" I hadn't seen it. And then right when I read that super chat, I think there was the blip on Fox News. If you're watching the show, you can see, my monitor, my left, it showed it on Fox News as I was reading it. I have not, except for that moment, which is the single clip that you saw all over social media, the single clip that you saw all over X. I have not, except that moment, seen any coverage of this at all on the network news. I mean, zero. None. Is that weird? Am I crazy or is that weird? A B-52 bomber crashing and I think was it 8 or 12? I can't remember because there was a second crash. Nobody's covering this other one. There was another crash. All these crashes of military jets happened in the last 24 hours, and nobody's even covering it on the network news. Am I crazy, or is that a little weird? Now, I know a lot of this stuff comes pre-packaged, so I'm not surprised Fox News, on 4 separate occasions yesterday, had entire segments dedicated to anti-Semitism. Yes, you heard me right. That's the Fox News big story yesterday. Of all the things, that's the big story, is anti-Semitism. They did 4 separate segments, entire segments. And they had one blip, about 90 seconds of a news blip on the B-52 bomber crash, nothing on the crash in Washington, and then 2 other military jet crashes in the last 24 hours that nobody's covering. So I'm going to look at all of that. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's suspicious. I just find it odd that nobody's covering this. That raises my suspicions. When the network news is covering a story that normally they would make sure you see, that's kind of how you can understand stuff. If every network on television is covering something, that means they want you to see it. If every network is not covering it, that means they don't want you to see it. And let's be even more suspicious with the plane story. This is a plane crash. Okay. So we're talking flames, smoke, unfortunately, dead people. This is network news wet dream. This is network news. This is what they want. This is what they squeeze every drop out of. A plane crash, a smoking gravesite from a plane crash, a military plane crash, a B-52 bomber while the war is going on. You'd think that'd be like catnip for cats for Fox News. You think that'd be like catnip for cats for CNN and MS Now. Oh, look, a plane crash on Trump's presidency. Oh, it's his fault. Nothing. Why don't they want you to see that? Strange to me. Strange to me. So we'll be looking at that. And then we got some other developments as well. It's kind of a light news day, all things considered. Something could develop before the end of the transmission, though. And that wouldn't surprise me. But hey, we're all watching it. We're all watching it. The foreign lobby and the neocon coalition that co-opted MAGA are throwing temper tantrums today. They are throwing conniption fits today because it looks like they've lost control of foreign policy. Let's hope that's the case. Let's hope that that is the case. The only problem is, if that is the case, what will they then do to regain control of the foreign policy? This is really the big story. This is why we cover it. This is why we talk about it. And this is why everybody is looking at Trump at the G7, wondering what is he going to do next? I hope, for his sake, the answer to that question is sleep. But that doesn't seem to be on Trump's agenda anytime soon. So all of that and more coming up on today's transmission. Today's show is brought to you by Cove Pure Water Filtration Systems. Bring your water filtration to the future with Cove Pure Water Filtration Systems. Folks, once you get this water filter in your house, you will not go back. Trust me, I'm telling you from experience. I don't know what my favorite feature is. I think right now, since it's finally starting to get hot here in Austin, Texas, we haven't quite got to 100 degrees yet, but we're starting to flirt with it. So it's starting to get hot. I love the fact that with one push of the button on the digital display that you see here, if you're watching the show in front of me, we have the unit, the filtration unit right there on the screen. That's a digital display there. With one push of my digital display on my Cove Pure Water Filtration System, I get ice cold water. I don't need ice. It doesn't even need to be sitting in the fridge. It just sits right there on my counter. One push of the button, ice cold water. I think that's my favorite feature right now, since it's getting so hot out. Although I guess really your favorite feature should always be filtered water. So you don't have to drink all the contaminants, the fluoride, the forever chemicals, the microplastics, everything else that gets into the water supply that you don't want to drink. The Cove Pure Water Filtration System gets it out and realkalizes the water before you drink it. It doesn't get any better than that. And right now, for my listening audience, at covepure.com/Owen, you can get $250 off your Cove Pure Water Filtration System. You heard that right. At covepure.com/Owen, $250 off your water filtration system.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys. All right. You know, I really am curious where people are at on this Iran deal. To me, we've been here before. It feels like we're just on the same merry-go-round. The only thing that indicates that this one is a little different, that this cycle is a little different, is with every cycle we do here, with every lap we do, the foreign lobbyists and the neocons seem to get angrier and angrier, and this is the worst they've been. And you kind of start to see what it was really all about. It's like, yeah, okay, we understand. We're getting a clearer vision of what Israel's agenda is here. They want to control the waterways. They want to expand their borders. And they want to assert policy dominance directionally over the Middle East. That's what they want. And of course, they need the U.S. military to assert themselves in order to do this. Not just the U.S. military, but the U.S. Treasury as well. And so that's what they've been doing. Now, this has been going on for a long time. This has been going on for most of our lives. For some of you, maybe your entire lives. I do think when we look at the larger story here in the Middle East, you do have to go back to September 11th. And I think eventually that's why so many times when you have these debates, it ends up back at 9/11, because ultimately they tell you, well, you have to be okay with killing Muslims and doing all of this stuff in the Middle East. You have to be okay with that because of 9/11. And so it seems like that's kind of what kicked off this whole thing. The U.S. comes in like a battering ram, starts bombing all these countries, doing all this regime change, running all these proxy wars. Israel slowly gains more power and influence over the region. They run their own proxy wars. And then the people that have relations to both countries, they just get massive profits off of the resources, the land, the defense contracts. And this is kind of the sick cycle that we've referred to as the military-industrial complex for years. But it seems like we're at the end of the road. It seems like we're at the end of the road on this deal. And they know politically they aren't going to have a mandate in a couple of years. They know that there will not be any political support from this, at least from the United States of America. There will not be any support for this in the coming years. So they're pedal to the metal. They have to do everything now, which makes it so obvious what they're doing. And now there's had to be so much death and destruction that the whole world is looking at it and saying, hey, whoa, what's going on here? Now they're looking at Trump, and he's trying to separate himself from the death and destruction, even though at this point it's probably too late. So it seems like that's what this is all about. And they really want the land invasion of Iran. It seems like they're never going to stop pushing Trump until they get a land invasion of Iran, which I'm not even sure exactly what it is they would want. I guess they want Trump to take Karg Island, is really what that would look like. So they want troops on the ground, an invasion of Karg Island, take it over, take over the waterway, have Kushner and friends on the other side, on the Albanian side. We know the protests happening there. So that's what this seems like. It's like this is the 21st century plan for greater Israel, and the 21st century plan for the parties and the partnerships that have been formed here in this military-industrial complex. This was their big move to assert themselves for the 21st century forward as the dominant factor in the Middle East. And they thought they had all the dominoes lined up, and all they had to do was have Trump push that final domino of a land invasion of Karg Island, and they could finally get one step closer to where they wanted to be, next being Turkey, and then from so on and so forth. But it's so unpopular. It's been such a failure. Now they're up against it. And so now their true colors show. Now their true agenda shows. Now their true loyalty shows. And it's a moment that the American people had to go through. And if you're not watching, it doesn't this show anything, but if you're not paying attention to the day-to-day and the politics, and you miss these episodes, like you miss a daily episode, and then you come back a week later, you're like, oh, what happened? That's how fast all this stuff is moving right now. That's how fast all of this stuff is moving. Now, normally we get right back on track, and the Israeli lobby is able to twist Trump's arm and get him to do their bidding. It just feels different right now. It feels different this time. Now, I'm hesitant. As far as the details are concerned, I'm not really interested in the details, I will tell you. And, there's a couple clips of Trump. I've got a couple clips of Trump today, but there's a couple clips of Trump. And, he's kind of rambling off like he normally does, just saying nonsense like gas prices are down, everything's down. It's just not true. Okay. But then there's a couple of clips where you can tell it's like, no, this isn't Trump just reading from the script. This isn't Trump just, like he's a wax animatronic or whatever at a museum, push the button, and he just, goes on the same loop. No, this was Trump. Hey, no, there's a real development over here with this peace deal. I'm trying to tell you what's going on. So I think there's a little bit, I think today there's some things Trump said that you can actually listen to and say, okay, there's meaning there. When he talks about, gas prices being down, economy up, all that, it's like there's no meaning there. That's just, it might as well be a drawstring and it's just a voice box. But there's other stuff he said that I think carries a lot of weight. But as far as the details, Trump said, a reporter asked him about the details. He denied all of them. Now there's these latest leaks to the press, and they're going against Trump's claims. So Trump and Vance, here's one specifically. Trump and Vance have both claimed that there is no money. There is no money being transferred from the United States to Iran. Both Vance and Trump now have made this statement to the press on video. And so this leaked report comes out about an hour or two ago with the details, and it's got the $300 billion investment for Iran or whatever it is. So I don't trust any of it. I don't trust any of it. I don't think Trump is really showing his full hand right now, to be honest. I don't think Trump is showing his full hand. I think you have people that are trying to leak whatever they know to the press, but Israel is obviously frustrated because they've been cut out of the deals. And you may have actually seen this yesterday. It didn't make the final stack, but I'll mention it now and I'll start to get to the news. Mark Levin, who, by the way, and maybe I should even address specifically Mark Levin attacking Jack Posobiec yesterday and what that represents. Kind of like we talked about how Fuentes is ratioing Mark Levin yesterday. But I cut that from the final stack today, so I don't know if it will make it. But here's the significant thing that Mark Levin said. And I do have this in the stack, actually. He's talking about how now there needs to be congressional approval for this deal. Now, folks, I want you to understand you have to understand the significance of this moment. And if you don't have like the decipher glasses, I don't know what they call those things, like the special colorized glasses where you can decipher the secret code, like on the back of a cereal box or something. If you don't have the glasses, then you can't decipher any of this. So Mark Levin goes on his show yesterday after bashing OG MAGA, by the way, after bashing all of the original Trump supporters that when he was a never Trumper, he was attacking then. So we're just, we're right back. And so Levin says, Congress has to review this deal. Congress needs to see this deal. Congress needs to review this deal before it can pass. Do you know what he's actually saying, folks? Let me decipher what he just said. Let me put on the secret spy code glasses, and let me tell you what Mark Levin just said. And it's amazing that this is how he thinks, because it shows you how embedded he actually is. When Mark Levin is talking about, and he won't be the only one, when Mark Levin is talking about how Congress needs to review this peace deal, that's so all the Israel agents in Congress can give the details of that deal to Netanyahu or to Mark Levin or Ben Shapiro, however the little community of AIPAC neocons works. That's what he's saying. So when you see these headlines talking about how Israel's been cut out of these negotiations and they're all freaking out, that's real. And that's why I don't think the details that we're getting are accurate. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody put out a fake deal to try to smoke out a leaker or smoke out a rat. That wouldn't surprise me either. No, Levin wants Congress to review this deal so that Israel can see it before it gets signed. That's what it's all about. So that whatever these AIPAC members of Congress can get their hands on that deal, they can share the details of that deal and get it to Israel. That's what it's all about. And the fact that Levin instinctually goes there like that's their safety net. Hey, if we can't get access to the president, if we can't get inside the White House operations, if we can't have eyes and ears on everything Trump is doing, then we've got our safety net of Congress, and we'll just run it through Congress, and those people will get us involved and make sure that we're up to date on the details. That's how it works. That's how it works. Now, let's look at some of these headlines. Oh, it's a defeat now. Of course. Iran deal is tacit admission of strategic defeat by the Trump administration. Now, this is going to be ironic as we're all going to watch this. They're going to try to force this narrative of a total defeat. And how ironic is it going to be? Like everything else. Oh, so the Panikins were right. Again. So the Panikins were right about everything. So the Panikins were right. If you get involved with Iran, it will split the MAGA base. The Panikins were right. If you get back involved in neocon foreign policy in the Middle East, you're going to lose the midterms. The Panikins were right. If you try to do this war in Iran, it's not going to go smoothly. The Panikins were right. And now they've all admitted the Panikins were right. They've all admitted it. And this is their last admission. After telling Trump how successful he'd be, after telling Trump how popular it would be, after telling Trump, don't worry, this won't affect your base, this won't affect the midterms, everything they told Trump was wrong. This did destroy his base. This will affect the midterms. And now you're sitting here in another quagmire of a Middle East situation, just trying to find a way out. And the Panikins were right. And they have admitted we were right about everything, but they won't come out and say it. They'll just write their headlines that we warned would happen a year after we warned it. But now they're going to start calling Trump a failure, just like we covered yesterday, because he wants peace. I don't know how you feel. I am curious. I'm willing to forgive Trump for messing this up in the Middle East. I will tell you, if he can turn this thing around and deliver on the things we voted for, if Trump can turn this administration around and start doing mass deportations and start getting energy costs down and really starting to focus pedal to the metal on the America First policy, the domestic issues, cutting taxes, all of that good stuff, I am willing to forgive him for the Middle East blunder. And that's going to take a lot of effort. Let's be honest. That's going to take a lot of effort because this was a distinctive betrayal. This was a distinctive and an offensive betrayal. But you know what? I'm not going to make this about me. This is about peace on earth and saving the country. And if Trump is going to do the right thing for peace on earth and saving the country, then I'm going to support it, even if it's getting us out of a mess that he got us into. That's how I feel. I don't know. Maybe people in the chat feel different today. I know a lot of people will definitely feel different. They're done, period. They have no interest in supporting anything Trump does. But you know what? If we can actually get a peace deal done, and maybe this somehow opens up the opportunity to cut ties totally with Israel, all of a sudden this thing can turn into a positive. All of a sudden this thing can turn into a positive. So that hope meter yesterday that was bumping a little bit, starting to kind of steady with a little like 2 to 3 degree angle here, starting to kind of steady out. It's kind of flickering yesterday. It's starting to just kind of hold right here. Maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. U.S.-Iran deal means Israel's will be in this crap a lot longer, Jerusalemites say. Some Israelis indicated that with the new MOU, which is set to be officially signed in Switzerland on Friday, they saw an emerging rift between the U.S. and Israel. You know, it's quite a revelation here, isn't it? We heard all this talk. We heard all of this talk, how Israel could do it on their own. We heard all this talk how Israel could mop the floor with Iran and everything else that we've heard over these years. They don't need us. They don't need us. We need them. And now the thought of them having to move on without us, and they don't seem to like it very much. They seem to be panicking. You know, it's like the guy that starts a fight at the bar with 5 dudes bigger than him and looks back at his friends like, hey, you guys got me on this one too? And his friend said, you know what? Not this time. Good luck. And all of a sudden, whoop. Oops. I guess I picked a fight I couldn't win. Starting to feel like that's hitting the Israelis. And, you know, what's so crazy about it, what's so strange, because they could be doing themselves favors right now, and instead they're just hurting their own cause. What's so crazy is watching the response to this, and we do have more of it today. You would think that Israel would be begging America, would be on their knees begging us, pleading, please help us. We're in dire straits. We need you. You'd think Israel would be overwhelmingly grateful and begging for our backs today. You'd think they'd be all over it. And instead, they're trying to rub our nose in it. Instead, they're insulting us, trying to demand this entitlement over us. Now they're attacking us after everything we've done. Oh my gosh, this should be it. This should be it. Where is the eternal gratefulness from Israel? Where is the overwhelmingly due praise and thankfulness from the Israelis for everything America has done for them? This should be your guys' moment of begging and pleading and thanking us. And instead, you're attacking us. You're attacking our politicians when you know what the reality is without us. This should be it. And the only reason Israel is mad that they can't get access to the Iran discussions is because it makes it much harder for them to lie to Trump. If Trump is in direct negotiations with the Iranians, then the Israelis can't lie to Trump about the Iranians. And that's all they've ever done. That's why they're panicked. And they want to know the details of this agreement so that they can decide what they want to do with their military before the deal is signed. So that's all it is. The Israelis want access to the deal so they can get a jump on it and sabotage it. And they want access to the negotiations so they know what the Iranians are telling Trump, so they know how they can lie to Trump. And without that access, they can't do either one. That's why they're freaking out. So here's President Trump, sleepless. I don't think the guy slept in days. He's in Geneva for the G7. He's talking about all of these developments in ways we haven't really heard from President Trump.
But you wouldn't have, if it weren't for the United States of America, with me, because Obama was the opposite, Israel would not exist right now. Israel would have been blown off the face of the earth, 100%. And every smart person in Israel knows that. Okay, but you wouldn't have, if it weren't for the United States of America, with me, because Obama was the opposite, Israel would not exist right now.
He's right. Without the United States of America, Israel would not exist right now. And you'd think they'd be thankful for that. You think they would be thanking us and kindly, humbly asking for more help. You'd think that would be their approach, but nope. Nope, they're very brash. They're very abrasive. They're very aggressive, demanding that you owe them something, that they're entitled to your blood and treasure. You wouldn't exist without us. It's weird, the power dynamic here. Are we missing something? Because the power dynamic that we can all see with our eyes is we have all the power. Or are we missing something? Is there some sort of a weird blackmail operation going on? I don't know. More from Trump on this.
Rears its head. And then
what are the expectations for Israel? Can this deal survive? Israel attacks Lebanon?
It can, and, you know, I consider that the minor war. Iran's the big one, but we have that a little pinprick out there that constantly rears its head, and that's Hezbollah. And, you know, I was very responsible for Syria, and the man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done an amazing job of pulling it together. He's not a Boy Scout, but he's done an amazing job of pulling it together. And he is very good with Hezbollah, does not like them. And I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
Now, these are crazy statements from President Trump. Accurate, I would say. I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying, but for him to say this right now in this moment, pretty heavy stuff. You know, and you talk about Jolani and Syria. Trump is basically saying that he now trusts Al-Qaeda more than he trusts Netanyahu, is what it sounds like to me. Trump, it sounds like to me, just said, I would trust Al-Qaeda to figure out the Middle East more than I would trust Israel at this time, or at least to handle Hezbollah. That's pretty crazy. But what he says before that is the real story. Trump is now, and maybe this is where he plays his leverage, Trump is now telling the press, hey, I'm well aware that Israel is bombing civilian targets. I'm well aware that Israel is just on a military demolition right now, and I don't like it. Now, he doesn't phrase it that way. He keeps it a little clean, a little above the belt. But that's what he's saying. And that's his little kind of, hey, Israel, you know, we all know what you're doing over there. We don't like it. So that's the world. He just said that to the world at the G7. He goes on.
Are you frustrated with Netanyahu, sir?
No, we had a great relationship. We're talking about some end details. I didn't like that he did an attack based on there's a very minor little thing with some drones that were released, and he ends up doing I saw that attack. I saw where that bomb went. Did you see what happened? That was a vicious, that was too much. You know, you can do too much also. But we've had a very effective relationship. Without us, without the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel, because no other president was willing to do what I did. I've had a great relationship with Bibi, but now Bibi has to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon. Lebanon used to be a great country. It was a country where you had professors, doctors, lawyers. The great intellect was in Lebanon. Now it's terrible. I would say of all countries, they've been treated the worst. And they can't defend themselves. And they have Hezbollah, which is a problem for them. So, no, I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran.
And so now I think that you're starting to get into where Trump is getting, let's say, not the full story from Netanyahu or from Israel. I think Trump is pretty well aware of the plans for the Gaza Strip. Trump might even have his hand in some of these workings. And maybe he justifies it by saying, hey, this happened in the Biden years. I'm just here to clean it up. Whether you buy that as legitimate or not, I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. I'm just saying, I think Trump's well aware. Okay, here's the plan in Palestine. All right, this is all done. I wasn't president for that. Now I think Trump is looking at the situation in Lebanon and saying, hold on a second. You guys didn't tell me this was Palestine 2.0. You guys told me you were going in there for specific targets, limited breach, and you guys are doing another Palestine job. So to me, that's where I think Trump has been lied to or misled by Netanyahu, and he doesn't like it. Because that is happening on his watch. So if he wants to say, hey, Palestine didn't happen when I was president, fine. At least the worst of it. But now he doesn't want to have to sit here and watch them Palestine, Lebanon, because that will happen under his watch. More from Trump at the G7.
And I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
Pretty strong words there directed towards Israel at the G7. Now, is he playing to his audience? Is he playing to the G7 crowd? Or is this a serious potential change of heart, change of policy on the Middle East for the administration? Now, we got probably way too deep into this yesterday, but there is some more of it today. I'm not going to have too much of it, but, you know, now is when you get to see where the loyalties in the American media lie, or in the neocon wing of the Republican Party, or the right wing. And I've been warning that as soon as Trump does not deliver for these people in the Middle East, they will all turn their back on him. I've been warning it since day one. And it's very clear at this point, their demand is, I guess, for lack of a better word, nuke Iran or do a ground invasion in Iran or on Kharg Island to take it. It's clear that that's what they want. And it's clear that anything short of that, they're going to end up complaining. Anything short of that, they're going to be upset. Now, again, the obvious question would be, well, then why don't they do it on their own? Because they can't. And that's the big joke. And maybe Trump will finally put his foot down on that situation. So here they are on Fox News. They're all turning, folks. They're all turning. Trump won't invade Iran. Trump won't nuke Iran. Trump's trying to get a peace deal, and they're all turning on him. This is their moment. This is where they all show their true colors. This is what it was all about for them, folks. This is what we have been warning about with the new MAGA coalition that has co-opted the Trump administration. This is what we warned about. We warned you this entire thing was being co-opted for the donor class, specifically in this case, for the foreign lobby. We warned you. And now here's the moment. They're not complaining. Notice, they're not complaining about higher gas prices. They're not complaining about the lack of deportations. They're not complaining about the lack of deep state arrests. You know, we just had another illegal alien let in under the Biden administration get into a gunfight with ICE. No. The new MAGA coalition, they're not demanding any of these things. They're not complaining about how the gas prices are going up, how the cost of living is going up. No. They're perfectly content with all of that. As long as they get their regime change war in Iran, whatever it takes. As long as this administration is used as a tool of the Israeli agenda in the Middle East, they're all happy. And so what happens? The minute where Trump decides he might take that tool away from them, they all turn on Trump. Just like that. Just like I said they would. And now you get to see what it was always about. Now the American people get to see what it was always about. I'd love to believe this is part of some big Q plan. Maybe it's part of God's plan for this country to save it. I don't know. But this is the moment. This is the big reveal. This is where they take off the mask. There can be no more questions. All the things that you voted for, all the things that MAGA was supposed to mean and be and accomplish politically in D.C. has all been co-opted by this foreign interest. And now that Trump is maybe not delivering for them, they all turn on Trump and they all complain. But they don't care about the economy. They don't care about your gas prices. They don't care about the mass deportations. the H-1Bs, none of it. They don't care about any of that, and now you get to see. And so this is Fox News last night with Brett Baer, you know, the guy that called Arizona first. Here you go. Here they come. Get the knives out for Trump. He won't do the war in Iran.
You hear what the president says. He says their Navy is at the bottom of the water. The Air Force is done. They've been degraded in missiles. However, we see Iranian missiles fire at U.S. bases and fire at ships. They're saying that the strait's going to be open completely. Iran says something differently in how they talk about it.
Yeah, they're talking about still controlling the strait. And so the question I think the president may be discussing with our G7 partners is whether we can independently control the strait ourselves going forward so that Iran cannot in the future extort us.
So there it is. They want Trump to take over the strait, and we all know why. I mean, it's just ridiculous, folks. It's using the U.S. military like hired mercenary men for foreign interests and donors. It's despicable. It's disgusting. It's un-American. It's borderline treasonous, if not outright treasonous. These people are traitors. And I hope Trump sees this. If there's anything that can drive Trump right back into our arms, because that's what this is about. Let's be perfectly clear. We didn't change. If there's anything that can drive Trump back into our arms, it's this. It's tuning into the people that he thought was his friends and watching them attacking him for trying to get a peace deal done after everything he's done for them, after spending almost all of his political capital for their interests, and they're still not grateful. If anything can get Trump back on the America First movement and ditch these foreign lobbyists, this is it. And I love how they do this, Brett Baer, as if this hasn't been the case for months. Hey, Trump keeps saying the Iranian military is done, but they keep blowing up planes and firing missiles. Folks, that's been the case for months. Why did they just say it till now? Why is he just now willing to say this? This is the message. They are now using Fox News to apply pressure to Trump. And they're saying, all right, Mr. President, we're going to go anti-Trump now. We're going to start calling out your lies. We're going to start calling out the inconsistencies as far as the stuff going on in Iran is concerned. And we're going to aim that at you, and we're going to make you look bad if you don't do this war. That's it. That's what they're doing. That's what they're all doing right now. This is what it was all about. And they're all taking the mask off. This is just wild stuff. This is actually, I believe, an American journalist, Ian Haworth. Like it or not, Israel showed itself to be the only true ally of the United States, committing actual blood and treasure to its joint war against Iran, while Trump criticized Europe for sitting on the sidelines. Now Trump is hobnobbing with the Europeans and trashing Israel. Imagine this complete and utter reversal of reality. It's the U.S. that has sacrificed immense amounts of blood and treasure in the Middle East for Israel and its enemies. How many Israelis have been lost in North America fighting for us? How many Israelis have come over here and fought the cartels and defended our borders and helped with mass deportations? How many Israelis have come to America to risk their lives for our efforts to save our country? Oh, no, it's just our troops in the Middle East. Got you. And it's never been more obvious the extent to which Israel considers us an ally is wholly reliant on the extent to which we are willing to pay blood and treasure in the Middle East. And look at how quickly they turn. It was just a month ago. Trump had 99% approval rating in Israel. Oh, well, look at what's happened. Trump's approval rating in Israel flips in 3 weeks. He had a 58 positive 3 weeks ago. He has a 38% positive. That's a 46-point swing in 3 weeks. The only reason Israel liked Trump, and maybe to an extent, the larger extent, the only reason Israel liked America is because we worked for them. The minute that relationship is not going one direction in their favor, they're out. The minute Trump will not sacrifice blood and treasure for their interests, the partnership is over and they're no longer an ally. What more do you need to see? What a beautiful moment, really. And, you know, I'm kind of wondering, too, how much of this is about the people surrounding Trump being sick of Netanyahu? You know, there's other people out there with agendas. There's a much larger agenda than just Israel's. Now, for whatever reason, Israel has been able to influence the West, specifically the United States of America, for its agenda for decades. But there's other agendas, folks. And if the other parties that be, big tech, whatever, all the other interests in the outcome of the United States and the control of the White House and Congress, all the other interests, you know, maybe they're looking at Netanyahu and they're saying he's about to blow everything. This guy is about to blow everything. We have got to get him out. He has got to go. This guy, whatever this guy is thinking, it's destroying us. We want to build AI. We want to build data centers. We want to do this. We want to do that. And Netanyahu is blowing it all up right now. This guy is destroying everything else we want to do. Maybe they're just getting sick of him. Maybe they're just looking at Netanyahu and saying, all right, now he's got to get out of the way because this is now all of our other plans are being disrupted here. These chat rooms in Israel are pretty revealing. Israelis on Telegram in response to the B-52 crash and the death of 8 Americans. They deserve it. I hate the United States no less than Iran. We just started, dear Americans. The blows have only begun. So you got all of these different chats. We covered one of them yesterday. You got all these different Telegram chat groups. And because Trump wants a peace deal with Iran, they're all telling us how much they hate America. They want to see America in pain and Trump in pain. And all it took was a peace deal. Now, Israel Hayam, where that poll comes from, by the way, the poll that shows that Trump has lost 46 points in approval rating, that same source is reporting that Trump is considering dismissing several senior officials who opposed the Iran deal, including Pete Hegseth and John Ratcliffe. Now, Ratcliffe wouldn't surprise me. A senior U.S. official reportedly said the argument has been settled. Those who opposed it may pay a personal price. Now, Israel Hayom, where the poll comes from, is a news outlet owned by the Adelsons. So, take that for what it's worth. All right, now when we come back, we've got our crash out of the day. Who do you think? I mean, guys, who's got the highest odds for the crash out of the day today? What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to be our crash out of the day? It's kind of there's definitely a leader in the clubhouse, I would say. He's on the list pretty much every day. So when we come back, we will have that, and we'll kind of finish up on this stuff, get into the other headlines. We might even be ahead of the clock today enough to take some calls, so we'll be trying to keep up with the time as well. Folks, are you thinking about gold? Are you thinking about silver? Many people are making the move. Maybe you're ready, but you've got some questions. If you have questions, but you're ready, you should call my friends at Allegiance Gold. They want to answer all of your questions. They want to make sure any concerns you have are answered as well. This is what they do. This is why they have an A+ review with the Better Business Bureau. And if you're going to be making a big decision about your wealth, about your finances, you want that A+ review. Allegiance Gold has it. Give them a call. The call is free. 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191. And while you've got them on the phone, ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right. $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. Whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings, they make it simple to move into something real before the next reset, which we all think might be coming soon. So call them 844-790-9191 or go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
It's America's home for political play-by-play. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys, we are going to get the rest of the geopolitical centric stuff out of the way here. We do have our crash out of the day. We're going to start the second hour of today's transmission with our crashout.energy crash out of the day. Who do you think it is? It's really not a crash out, but with this guy, it's kind of always a crash out, isn't it? Mark Levin. Mark Levin. Now, I had mentioned this earlier. I want to point out a couple of things here about what he says, but people have been noticing Levin's lapel pin keeps getting bigger and bigger, and they went back and they looked. It's true. If you go back and look back a couple months ago and then a couple months previous, at one point this Levin lapel pin here was a normal sized lapel pin. It was normal, and for some reason, slowly but surely, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I think this is Mark Levin. He's trying to outmask himself. He's trying to mask harder. So in other words, he's LARPing as an American patriot. And so he's just trying everything to convince you he is. So if eventually he has to wear a giant metal flag medallion, like a necklace, like a big chain, he'll go to that length. Maybe he'll start dressing up like Uncle Sam. Levin is going to do anything he possibly can to try to prove to you he's an American patriot. So he's just trying to mask harder. It's like once you wear the mask, that's it. You have a mask on. He's trying to wear the mask even harder than he already is. But listen to what he says here as he's crashing out this weekend at a potential peace deal.
Congress is going to review it because that's not discussed either. Yes, Congress will have to look at this. And most importantly, they're going to look at whether this deal can be upheld.
Now understand, again, I mentioned this earlier, but understand this. Why is Mark Levin even saying this? Now, see, Mark Levin, his role here is like, oh, he's got the legal expertise on issues like this. He's the voice of reason when it comes to the legal application of such things. And of course, it's always bent, it's always twisted as far as the agenda is concerned. So Levin will tell you, hey, we don't need congressional approval for the war with Iran. And then Trump will say, oh, I like that. I like that legal analysis, obviously. But it's always just the result is in the favor. So Mark Levin's legal analysis is only to get the result in the favor. So now it's, oh no, but see, Congress didn't need to vote for the war with Iran, but now Congress needs to review the peace deal. Oh, I see that, because that makes total sense. No, this is Levin turning on Trump. This is Levin's loyalty to Trump being all about this war and nothing else. That's all it's been about. That's all it's been about since last summer. And this is exactly what we warned of. But the only reason why Levin wants Congress to review the deal, the only reason why Levin is arguing that it's the legal process for Congress to review the deal is because they want to give it to Israel. So forget about Congress and just say Israel. Mark Levin wants Israel to review the deal. But of course, Israel has how many agents in Congress? About 290? So of any of the 290 agents that Israel has in Congress, Levin just wants one of them to get their hands on this deal so they can turn it over and Israel can review it. That's what this is really about. So, hey, if we need to go to war on Israel's behalf in the Middle East, we don't need a congressional vote. But if we need to review the peace deal that Trump is about to sign, for that, we do need a congressional vote or a congressional review, really, at least. Boy, oh boy. Where do you think Levin's loyalties really lie? Where do you think Levin really thinks needs to be better off when the administration is finished? That's enough of crash out, Levin. It's a light crash out. Maybe I need to do a crash out today because that's a very weak crash out.energy crash out of the day. It's very weak. It's not very strong. I can do better than that. Maybe we'll have something else. Maybe we'll have something else before the end of the show. Maybe it's a caller. Maybe it's a caller. All right. Well, there's a couple other crash outs. Again, the irony here, guys. I wasn't going to do this today because we did enough of it yesterday, but this one was too much. This one was too much. The irony here is it's laid on so thick with so many layers, not even a Japanese, steak knife could cut it. So this is Daniel Hanukkah, IDF veteran, Israeli. He says, President Trump is exaggerating. He sounds like someone who is hostile to Israel. So not wanting to engage in more death and destruction means you're hostile towards Israel. Not or wanting a peace deal is hostile towards Israel. Boy, that's quite an admission, don't you think, guys? It's considered hostile towards Israel to want peace. Boy, that says a lot. But here's the irony. Hostile sounds like someone who's hostile. This guy's profile picture is him in his military outfit, his IDF outfit. And then he has the beeper, which is a bomb. That's the reference to the Israeli bombs. You want to talk about hostile? Your profile is you in your IDF uniform with a bomb emoji on your name. You are the definition of hostile. And you're going to point the finger at Trump? I mean, this is honestly the psychological analysis alone of this is truly amazing. Forget about the politics. Forget about the politics, the geopolitics. The psychoanalysis of this is unbelievable. I have never seen such psychology. And it's interesting that you get this on X. It's interesting that the internet opens you up to different parts of the world and how they respond to news and other such things, the things they're willing to say, do, whatever. Truly an unbelievable psychology that we're witnessing coming out of Israel. I don't know if you've ever seen a less self-aware people, at least the ones that get involved in politics. It's not fair to launch all the Israelis into this, obviously. It's the neocon Israelis. It's essentially what you have here. Whatever the number of it is. And honestly, in a weird, twisted way, it's going to be up to the people of America, and now it's going to be up to the people of Israel to get rid of their corrupt leadership. I mean, that's the truth. And maybe you can say that about Iran and anywhere else you want, but that's not my business. I'm not involved. I haven't been paying taxes to Iran's interests for my entire life. I've been subsidizing Iran's wars in the Middle East for my entire life. So it doesn't hit the same. But I don't think I've never seen such a psychology of entitlement, but not just like blind entitlement, like not even worthy entitlement, not even earned it entitlement. It's very strange. And then the lack of self-awareness. I don't think we've never seen from the Israelis that are basically the neocon warmonger types that we have on the right side of American politics. They have all exposed themselves as the most entitled and lacking in self-awareness I think I've ever observed in human psychology. And this is such a perfect example. I'm honestly stunned by it. I'm like, if you've ever seen the movie Shutter Island, when at the end of it, and he's in front of all the doctors, and the doctors are looking at him, they're like, wow, stunning, unbelievable. And they're just observing his psychology, and they're like, this is incredible, amazing. That's what it's in. It's like, wow, look at the entitlement. My goodness, I've never seen such entitlement. Look at the lack of self-awareness. He's calling someone hostile. He's holding a bomb. He's in a military uniform holding a bomb, calling someone else hostile. Can you believe this? Incredible. Wow, the psychology here is unbelievable. And that's what it is. But so, hey, why are you guys so desperately clinging on to us if you don't need us? Isn't that ironic? And I got a bit of a conspiracy theory about these pagers, by the way. Do you guys want to hear that? I've got a weird conspiracy theory about the pagers. And I forget. There was some other story, or maybe it was a radio segment I was listening to, and they were talking about these pagers, and it was something that was like something about it didn't make any sense to me. And then I thought, well, wait a second, who's really, are they buying pagers? Are they really buying pagers? Like, what is going on? All right, here's my conspiracy theory. I'm just going to lay it out. Total conspiracy theory. Just take it or leave it. Total conspiracy theory. Take it or leave it. What if the pagers are a red herring? What if the pagers are a red herring? Just think about the logistics of Israel making pager bombs and getting it onto terrorists' belt buckles or whatever. Just think about all the crazy logistics of that. You know, I thought of him, and I was like, you know, that's weird. What if the pagers were a red herring? What if there's technology that can make this blow up? Just saying. What if the pagers were just a distraction? What if the pagers were just meant to throw you off the scent? What if it's these that they actually can make blow up? You know, these things have blown up before. Now, I don't know the situation. You know, they're constantly improving these batteries. But some of these older batteries, you could blow them up. You could overheat them and blow them up. Plenty of videos out there online about that. What is more likely? That the Israelis were so brilliant that they thought to put bombs in pagers, a multi-decade irrelevant technology that they somehow can strategically sell to their enemies and get them to carry them around, including in a market, and blow them up. The logistics of that don't really add up to me. I'm not saying it's impossible. But who's buying pagers? Who's using pagers? What are we even talking about here? How are we getting these pagers? Who's selling them? It's like, what if they just blew this up? What if this is what they can blow up? Then the only question becomes, what type of phone were they carrying? Meanwhile, Ben-Gvir was supposed to come to the United States. He's canceling his trip. Now, apparently it was for a wedding. Ben-Gvir said to cancel U.S. trip at last moment due to visa complications. Well, the visa complications are he had to do a security background check, and he didn't want to do it. U.S. Embassy calls on far-right minister to provide his fingerprints, after which he reportedly decides to ditch travel plan. So they basically said, hey, you got to go through the same process to get the visa to come to the United States, and he didn't want to go through a background check. Ben-Gvir did not want to do a security background check, so he's canceling his trip to the United States. That's the official story. That's what they're saying. It's apparently for a wedding, and he's canceled the whole trip because he doesn't want to go through a security checkpoint. Boy, that's ironic. Neither do we. We got to deal with that crap, though. All right, let's move on. More weirdness out of the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt. And, you know, we'd been dealing with some of this, but we kind of gave up the fight, to be honest, because we ran out of avenues. But we don't have the punch that Judicial Watch has. But we also FOIA'd for anything we could get out of Butler. We FOIA'd, I think, 3 different agencies. And for the most part, they just kind of stonewalled. We got some stuff, but it's so painstaking. Unless you want to commit to it, like Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch, it just becomes a labor that requires daily focus and attention. So Judicial Watch is updating on their FOIA request. FBI slow-rolling release of 75,000 pages of Butler investigation documents. You know, I don't want to go too much off onto a tangent about the Butler stuff, but this thing it just keeps getting weirder, really. The lack of answers and now the lack of investigation, it just keeps getting weirder. And we kind of just assumed that when we did the FOIA request, probably about a year and a half ago, I'd have to go back and check my records. We were one of the first, we were pretty much FOIA as soon as it was eligible. We did a FOIA request. We got some stuff mostly inconsequential, and they said we can't share the rest of this stuff. So they were stonewalling us, and it sounds like they're stonewalling Judicial Watch. And now it's like, so we can't get FOIA requests fulfilled. We've really never had an explanation after that first briefing and then all the weirdness during the hearings. Now apparently they're not even investigating it. Things are weird with that. No doubt. Hey, the Trump administration is trying to deliver on a promise to stop paying for trans health care in the military. And so they've done it. Trump administration removes LGBTQ plus veterans healthcare programs. So you can no longer have the doctor go massage your fake member, your fake genitalia or your mutilated genitalia, or I guess all the different drugs that you need. Well, you can imagine that is angering the left. So they gave into one thing, and maybe that's okay. They also canceled a hotline, a suicide hotline. Trump administration to restore LGBTQ plus youth suicide hotline service after axing it. So that's good. Officials say the Press 3 option, which connects callers with an LGBTQ trained counselor, could return before the end of 2026. So you know what? I'm okay with that. Let's try to keep people from unaliving themselves. That would be a positive thing. But we don't need to pay for their unnecessary health care. But isn't that ironic? You need a specialized counselor for LGBTQ plus suicide training alone. Kind of tells the story, doesn't it? They're also getting rid of all the DEI hiring policies. Now think of this. Laverne Cox, I've never heard of this woman. Maybe I have. I don't know. Have you heard of Laverne Cox? I guess she's an actress. She must not be very talented because she says she has lost 90% of her income due to Trump administration's anti-DEI and gender policies. The actress expressed concern for other trans people who are not as privileged and as blessed as she is. So in other words, I have no talent and I cannot get a job without DEI hiring policies, is what Laverne Cox is admitting to here. Incredible. I mean, we all knew that was the case. We all knew that there were people in positions, whether it's, power and influence or entertainment, whatever. We all knew there were people in these positions that didn't deserve it, that didn't belong there, and only got there because of DEI. And now they're admitting it. That's pretty funny. You guys wouldn't get the job if it wasn't for the DEI hiring policies. Now, so who's losing out here? Who's not getting hired because they have an agenda? They have a mandate that they have to hire a trans person that doesn't deserve the job. So who are they not hiring then? Who's getting screwed on that deal? So the Trump administration has had a bit of a success story there as well. This is kind of crazy, guys. This is out of nowhere. This is out of nowhere. I don't know why the news cycle was late on this. Bob Packwood, longtime Oregon senator, dies at 93. This is out of left field, guys. This is just totally out of left field. For whatever reason, this story didn't start hitting my normal news headline wires till today. So I thought, okay, Bob Packwood, longtime Oregon senator, marred by scandal, dies at 93, Republican. Now, when I first saw this, there was a great irony to this story because apparently this guy postured himself on the right wing when he was in Congress in the 90s. He postured himself as a pro-woman right-wing Republican, pro-woman. I wouldn't say feminist, but he's pro-woman. He hears the women. He hears you, women. He hears your concerns, specifically if you're a victim out there. Well, then apparently he gets marred in this scandal where a bunch of women started accusing him sexual allegations. And so I'm reading through this, and eventually, obviously, he gets removed. The Senate Ethics Committee voted to expel Packwood from the Senate, finding he made unwanted advances towards more than a dozen women and tried to obstruct the investigation into his conduct. So I was looking more into it. He was kind of a dissident right, kind of a libertarian right, promoted different ideas like Ross Perot and others. I'm wondering if this wasn't like an original Me Too hit job. It reads like an original Me Too hit job. Here's an anti-establishment person in the right wing, and they hit him with these accusations and they get him out of there. But you also have to ask, with a name like Packwood, wasn't it inevitable? Wasn't it inevitable, guys? All right. The B-52 bomber situation. Eight people killed in B-52 bomber crash during routine test mission, Edwards Air Force Base confirms in California. The victims are a mixed crew of military, government civilians, government contractors, including 2 Boeing employees. And there you can see the aftermath. This is wild. This barely got any attention on the network news last night, which shocked me, made me a little suspicious about it. But B-52 bomber goes down, not to mention the timing of it all as well. That was in California. Is the fact it's in California relevant? A blue state? I don't know. A state on the border? I don't know. Military plane crash sparks Washington state wildfire. There was another one. Did you hear about the one in Washington? A military plane that crashed into a mountain in Washington has started a wildfire that crews are working to put out. So there were 2 military plane crashes. This one was caught on a lot of different videos. People were filming these planes flying around. Fighter jet made popping sounds before crashing. Fire crews are currently on the scene of a downed military aircraft in the area of Rim Rock Lake. So that's 2 American military jets crashing in a 24-hour window of time. There's the video of the Washington crash. My goodness. Can you imagine seeing that? That is surreal. I mean, those planes in air are already surreal enough. I can't even imagine seeing one plummet into a mountain like that. So there's that. That wasn't it. Same window of time. A Russian jet, Tu-22M3 strategic bomber, crashes during training flight in Irkutsk region. This is in Russia. A Russian strategic bomber crashed during a training flight in Siberia's Irkutsk region. The Interfax news agency reported, citing Russia's defense ministry. So this is another military jet that crashed. The footage of this is also pretty wild. I've got that one for you too. Again, can you imagine seeing that? I mean, that is a massive aircraft, and it just like slowly floats down and blows up. That is just insane. Talk about an insane sight to see. And then India. Same window. 5 Indian Air Force staff killed as transport plane crashes in Assam. And a Antonov AN-32 transport plane crashed near Assam's Jorhat region, Air Force says. All these things happening at the same time. Is it a coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. But I can't help but notice they're all happening in the same window of time. Can't help. But hey, they covered this for about 90 seconds on Fox News. I'm always monitoring the news, always, virtually 24/7. That is all I saw on that yesterday. A 90-second blip on Fox News. It happened when we were live on the air, and somebody sent me a super chat about it, and then they were covering it on Fox News. It was about 6:30 p.m. Central last night. No other network, I haven't even seen them mention it. I haven't even seen another network mention the B-52 bomber going down, which is like a wet dream for cable news networks. A crashed airplane, smoking, smoldering with fatalities. I mean, I'm not trying to sound callous here, but let's be honest. The news lives for that stuff. And they didn't even cover it. 90 seconds on Fox News. You know they did 4 segments on Fox yesterday? 4 segments on anti-Semitism yesterday. 4 separate segments on 4 separate shows on anti-Semitism. But didn't cover the B-52 bomber. Well, I told you the right wing was going to start censoring on this. I warned it would happen. And we see Rick Scott in Florida basically saying that the time is now.
If we don't stand up and vocally reject the hate that Kanye West pushes, if we don't stop this concert, we're telling everyone that anti-Semitism is okay. No, it's not okay. As long as we make some money. And somebody said that to me, oh, it's if they cancel, they'll lose money. So what? You made a bad decision, fix your bad decision. This puts an even greater target on our Jewish community, more than anything Kanye West could say or do himself. If they allow this, then what's the next event?
Hey, how about whatever we want, pussy? How about whatever the hell we want, you dirty commie?
And if they're not held accountable, if you're Jewish in this city, in this state, how do you feel? You feel like a second-class citizen, that people don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's how Americans feel with politicians like you.
We have a clear moral duty to reject hate at every level.
So they're trying to cancel the Kanye West concert in Tampa. Now, it's funny, of course, because Kanye West sells out the biggest venues in America. And he does 2-night shows, and he sells out 70, 80,000 seat venues. So it's, he's still pretty popular. Or at least his music is. I don't know, but he's selling them out. And so Rick Scott, the senator of Florida, says we shouldn't even allow him to perform. What kind of un-American commie garbage is this? I don't care if you think what he says is the most despicable thing you ever heard a person say. So what? He has a right to say it. And if people want to go see his concert, they can go see his concert. Why don't you get the hell out of here? This is so unconstitutional. It's unbelievable. This is a violation of Kanye West's First Amendment right, or Ye. He gets mad when you call him Kanye. This is a violation of Ye's First Amendment right to have a senator of Florida trying to stop your ability to make money in the state of Florida. I can't believe it. I cannot believe the right wing has gotten here. Even though I knew it, even though I called it, to actually see it is so pathetic. But you know what's even more ironic about this? And it just so happened the other day, I was listening to some rap music. And you know what I heard in 3 separate rap songs? One of them was Jay-Z, I believe it was 99 Problems. He talks about when you shove him, he's going to stab you. I'm like, oh, that's funny. He literally, it's like, if you push me, I forget the exact lyric. I can't say it, but it's like, you push me, I'm going to stab you is basically what he's saying. I'm like, wow. And then I think it was like a Gorilla Zoe song. And then I think it was 3 songs. It was 3 back-to-back songs in a row where the lyrics talked about, if you push me, I'm going to kill you. These are all these gangster rap songs. Of course, you see where I'm going with this. As far as what we just witnessed in the Frisco high school situation with Carmelo Anthony. It's like, oh, this is the music they listen to. Okay. But that's not even my issue here. You can go and find any gangster rapper out there. And you can find a song or a lyric, whatever, a music video, and they'll be doing the most despicable things. The way they talk about women or police or different types of gangs or skin colors. It's all there. It's all out there in the music industry, and it's all mainstream, by the way. It's all on terrestrial radio. We all grew up listening to it. We all know exactly what it is. There has never been a call to stop any of that music from being platformed. Now, Kanye West, or Ye, he's not going to go up in front of his audience and do some sort of a Hitler-esque diatribe about Jews. He's not going to do that. He's going to go perform his music. That's what he's done at his last concerts. So even if that was your concern here, it doesn't even fit the bill because it's not even an issue. You're talking about stuff that a free man says in his free time, and you want to stop him from being able to perform in your state for his free speech. You are a communist. That is unconstitutional. You should be removed from the Senate and investigated, if not indicted. This is outrageous. But see, what other conclusion are you to reach as an American now? You can rap about anything you want. Beating women, killing police officers, killing people, drug dealing, gang banging, racists, all kinds of stuff. You can rap about whatever you want. And you can be platformed at the biggest venues in the country, the biggest music festivals in the country, get the biggest record deals, go on TV, everything. And no one will say a word. No one will try to stop you from performing. But if you said something bad about Jews, you can't perform. Sorry. Sorry, you're not allowed to play here. Sorry, you can't play your music here. What conclusion are you supposed to reach as an American? What conclusion? Oh, that's the one thing you're not allowed to talk about? That's the one thing they're going to deplatform you for? What conclusion are you supposed to reach? And where's the free speech right? Where's the hey, I thought we defeated cancel culture part of the right wing? They're all silent. They're not saying anything. Isn't that strange? I guess they never meant it, huh? No, I guess not. And that's why they endorsed Steve Hilton for governor of California, a man that celebrated censorship online. But you better be careful, guys. They're monitoring you. You better be careful, guys, because they're monitoring you. This was at the latest Republican Jewish coalition here, and they're telling you, if you say bad stuff, they're watching you 24/7. They're spying on you, and they're using all their tech to put you on lists.
Target Jewish students, your actions will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented. Again, thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas, we pressured CEOs. Some resigned, many were terminated, but policies were changed, thankfully, from governmental to art institutions. Online, where anonymous accounts spread violent threats, we traced patterns, elevated evidence, and worked with authorities, leading to arrests from Florida, South Carolina, New York, California, and Texas. And we're not slowing down, sadly. Today, Stop Anti-Semitism, I'm proud to say, runs one of the most robust anti-Semitic enforcement operations in the United States, monitoring campuses, digital networks, activist groups, and public officials, documenting incidents in real time and mobilizing millions of people, of allies that are quietly by our side.
So there's a right-wing coalition, a Republican coalition, bragging about how they weaponize tech against your free speech and will punish you for free speech. Wow. Wow, indeed. Well, Americans are getting the message loud and clear. You know what? I think I'm just going to move on from this. I'll mention this briefly and move on. There's this video. There's a guy in New York City waving an Israeli flag on the street corner. A bunch of people come up to him. They ask him how much you're getting paid. They don't believe it. And as this interaction is going down, a bunch of people keep walking by and pointing at him, laughing, saying, "Are you making 7K?" The point is that, and I think that this is why we're seeing such desperation from the Israeli lobby right now and from the Israeli loyalists. They know, folks, even as much as we cover how Israel's lost the youth, specifically in America, like even how we cover it and we can see the polls and the direction of everything where it's going, it really doesn't even do it justice. This stuff is so like ingrained now into the youth. They don't even process it the same way that older people do. It's like it's just a given. Like, yeah, you do Israeli propaganda if you support that. It's like, yeah, you make $7,000 per post. It's like this is younger generational political culture on the left and the right. It's completely taken over. They don't process it as, oh, is it anti-Semitism? Is it anti-Semitism? They don't process it, oh, is it true or not? It's not even about the politics. It's just, this is the assumed fact when younger people that are into politics are talking about it. It's just everybody gets the Israel jokes. Everybody gets the Israeli lobby stuff. Nobody on the right or the left that's young supports that. I think I don't think, as much as we cover it and show the polls, I don't think people realize how bad it is. I don't think so. But hey, just like the Israelis say to the Palestinians, hey, if you don't like how unpopular your people are becoming, then you need to change your leadership, right? That's what you guys say about the Palestinians. So hold yourself to the same standard. See how it goes. Folks, you got to be careful out there. Got to be careful out there. Facebook Marketplace disaster. Jean Gregg, Indiana mom, 40 years old, shot dead while protecting son during Facebook Marketplace transaction. An 18-year-old was charged with murder after Gregg died from injuries she suffered when he allegedly shot her during a Facebook Marketplace transaction. My goodness. Facebook Marketplace. And you end up getting shot and killed. It's really sad. Really sad. You got to be careful out there, folks. You got to be careful out there. Can't even have a Facebook Marketplace transaction without making sure you got, you're not going to get shot. Tragic. So be careful, guys. Be careful out there if you're using Facebook Marketplace or any other online marketplaces where you have to meet up with the person. Be careful. All right, guys, this is a shocker. We're stunned. We're shocked. Nobody could have seen it coming. Barry Weiss has hired Douglas Murray to join the Free Press. We're stunned. We're shocked. This is what they do. See, they have these media outlets that just have money. And so this is how you pay off all of your assets. This is how you pay off all of your agents. This is how you pay off all of your operatives. And Doug Murray is clearly one of them, as far as we want him in there supporting Israel. So Murray gets a job at the Free Press, hired by Barry Weiss. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so glad that he secured that job, and his years of legendary work in the field and in his journalistic career has landed him this very prestigious job at the Free Press. Now he can say he's been there. You guys want to see this from a former Turning Point USA staffer? Ooh, or I don't know what his role was. He seems that he's had some sort of a role at Turning Point. I don't know what it was. I doubt he does anymore. His name is Mason. He shot this video, young American, big supporter of Turning Point, and he recently just shot this video. It's going viral.
You know what I'm sick and tired of? I'm sick and tired of this. So I got these back-to-back weeks, by the way, like back-to-back weeks. So let's read the first one. Dear friend, we are Charlie Kirk. That's the message thousands of Americans are carrying out, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, if you would like one of these wristbands, blah, 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 your gift would honor Charlie's legacy to fuel Turning Point USA's fight to protect the liberty of all our people. And then it gives you a thing to write a check and send money to them. So that's the first one. And then, dear Patriot, no one loved this nation, God, or the truth more than Charlie. This is Riley Gaines talking. So please return your signed pledge of support along with your most generous gift. Every dollar will help support our unprecedented growth and continue our campus tours, blah, blah, blah. Charlie gave everything he had to save our country, and we will too, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you a thing to send money to them. So this is, by the way, I still have this up. I got that at the funeral. Like, I still wear this every day. So it's not about like Charlie and stuff. This is about this organization wanting more money from college students, of all people too, to fund what they're doing, their train wreck, basically what they're doing. Because no one likes Erica, bro. Whether you think she had a foreknowledge or not, just surface level, no one likes her. She's not likable. She's not furthering Charlie's mission. She's extremely suspicious, and she's not a likable person. So the fact that in the AI video, they used AI to say, oh, I appoint my wife to Turning Point if anything happened to me. Totally AI. So the fact that they want money from us still after the millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars they made, especially right after his death, about Erica bragging about hat orders and stuff, it's just like, so Blake or Andrew or Erica, whoever sees this, I don't want these anymore, bro. Stop sending these to me. Back-to-back weeks, by the way. So, yeah, I quit for a reason, and it's because they're scammers. They want our money after all of this. So how about some transparency? How about all the videos he said, oh, we have so much pre-recorded stuff. We're so excited to show this stuff at Charlie. What about that, Erica? What about that stuff that you said on the podcast days after you got assassinated, after you were accepting being appointed CEO of a multi-million-dollar company? How about that? But we don't want. You guys don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about Tyler Robinson and the connections and keeping him quiet. You don't want to talk about all this stuff. So I'm disgusted, honestly. This isn't some like, oh my gosh, Mason, you're like complaining about. No. I'm disgusted to my stomach because I stand for that. I stand for this. I stand for Charlie's mission, and these people make me sick. Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, Erica Kirk, Jack Posobiec, you all make me sick to my stomach.
Well, Posobiec catches a stray. I don't know where Posobiec catches that stray from, but all right. You know, Turning Point USA has had this problem now with multiple former staffers or employees, you know, different roles who have kind of gone public with some issues that they have. We played these videos. You know, I don't want to get into the TPUSA thing. That's its own entity. I will say that I think a lot of people are underestimating. I don't know if that's the right word. They're misunderstanding, or they just don't understand where younger conservatives are really at right now. They seem to not understand it. And this is why I talk about the ratioing of Mark Levin. And even, you know, the guy brings up Jack Posobiec. Even with Posobiec to a degree, even Posobiec, who gets attacked by Mark Levin yesterday, by the way. I mean, unbelievable attack by Mark Levin. I mean, talk about, in fact, if Jack Posobiec was looking for a shining endorsement, the ridicule and hatred from Mark Levin is about as good of an endorsement as he can get. But it's like even somebody like Jack, who's really connected in D.C., who has really climbed the ladder of right-wing politics and influence, and even somebody like Jack, who is similar age to me, like, he understands that the youth is not very fond of these wars in the Middle East and our foreign policy. He understands that. And so he actually is one of the few people that has enough of a connection to the White House that might understand that. Levin doesn't get that. Levin doesn't want people to understand that. But he knows that Jack understands that, and that scares him. Because Jack might be able to get that information to Trump, like Charlie was able to get that information to Trump. So they really don't understand where the youth is as far as these issues are concerned. And they keep trying to sell us something we don't want, a war in the Middle East. We don't want it. They think that they can sell it to us. They think that they can package it or have a presentation or a convincing argument, and they're going to be able to sell this thing to us. We don't want it. You don't understand. We don't care about the bells and whistles. We don't care about all the different ways you try to convince us this is good for us. We are not interested. We don't want it. And as the youth, the conservative right-wing youth that is way closer to a Nick Fuentes than a Mark Levin, they see this stuff. They see the direction of all of this stuff, and they don't want anything to do with it. And that's why you see all of these people making these videos about Turning Point, because it's like everything we thought that we were fighting for has all been somehow morphed into this new neoconism in the Middle East again. And they hate it. And the big difference is now they have so much access to information, and they're so smart as far as finding information they want on the internet. You can't control the narrative anymore. You can't force young conservatives. Like when I was growing up, they wanted everybody listening to Ben Shapiro. They wanted everybody listening to Mark Levin. They wanted everybody listening to Dana Lesh. In fact, in the 90s, Rush Limbaugh was attacked a lot. Michael Savage was attacked a lot. That was their first attempt. But for the most part, we didn't have the options. We didn't have all the independent media. We didn't have the social media. It was, there were your options, and that's where you're going to go. Nowadays, these kids, they have so many options for politics. They have so many options for news. You can't control the narrative with the Mark Levin anymore. And imagine thinking you can control any narrative with Fox News. You can't even control the narrative with a network anymore, an entire network. In fact, the people that own all the networks, they can't even control the narrative anymore. So they're like stuck in this mindset where they still think they can control the narrative and deceive the youth of the right wing that they've done so many times before. It doesn't work anymore. And the more you guys try, the worse you look. It's crazy. But they're not going to stop. They have no option because they're only in it for one reason. They're only in it for one reason. And, I will say, Jack and I engage on X every once in a while. And he responded to a post I made about music the other day, of all things, music. It's like, oh my gosh, Jack Posobiec and I like music. Like, whoa, what a controversy. So a bunch of people started attacking him because he shared a post of mine about Tool, the band. And again, it's something that these people just don't understand. It's another example of how these people are completely out of touch. You know, maybe Jack and I have different viewpoints on things, and Jack is in a completely different place than I am in Austin, Texas, and what he does. Here's what the people attacking Jack Posobiec don't understand, trying to separate whatever connection Jack and I still have. Which, by the way, Jack and I are friendly. I texted him last night. I was going to share that video of Mark Levin ripping on him. I said, hey, here you go. I'm going to send it. Here's what you guys don't understand. We're all open to criticism. I'm open to criticism. Jack's open to criticism. We're open to disagreements. That's fine. What this new MAGA neocon coalition doesn't understand, we were in the streets in 2015, 2016, 2017. We were wearing MAGA hats and supporting Trump when you guys were trying to destroy us. We have been ramming heads with you neocons for 10 years, and we've been beating you like a drum, by the way. That's why Trump won and Bush and Rubio and the rest of them lost. Because we've been beating your ass, and we're still beating your ass. We're winning the youth. We're winning the culture. And this, it's like I said before, this new MAGA coalition, they stole our belt and they think it's theirs. They stole the belt from us and they're pretending like they had the power to earn it. You never had the power to earn it. You stole it from us. So it doesn't matter what you try to do. All of the people that were original MAGA, that were in the streets, that were wearing the Trump hat out in 2016 and 17 when it was actually dangerous, when people like Dana Lesh and Mark Levin were telling you to never vote for Trump and never support Trump, you guys are the ones that lost everything, not us. You just haven't figured it out yet. The only hope is the next go around that we're the ones that are making the decisions, that we're the ones that are influencing the president and not them. Because you see what they've done. You see what they've done. You see the mess that they've gotten Trump in. You see the absolute mess and disaster that they've gotten Trump in the Middle East. We would have never done that. Let's take a short break. We'll come back, finish it out, read your super chats.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
You know, I feel like the soul of the First Amendment has been lost. We might still have the Bill of Rights, but the soul, the spirit of it, the cultural relevance of it, political relevance of it seems to have taken a major hit. And we've played some of these videos before. By the way, the Palestine News Network, I believe they just got censored off of some video platform. I can't remember what it was. But it looks like they're getting censored. Go figure. Well, they walk around D.C. sometimes and just ask people about foreign policy and stuff. And what's crazy is they'll go up and ask people directly, America first or Israel first, and these people won't answer the question. Now, I don't even necessarily care about the opinions. What I find so strange about this, I'm going to play this. It's why are Americans so afraid to speak? That's what I don't understand. As I watch this video and I watch whoever this field reporter is for the Palestine News Network, I look at the way the people respond to him in complete fear. Like they're scared to death to speak. That concerns me. That concerns me that you as an American would be afraid to speak in America. Now, obviously, they feel, oh, I'm a congressional staffer or I'm on the Hill, and so I can't comment on things. You know what? Weak excuse, soft. And that's what I say. The spirit, the soul of the First Amendment is gone. Why can't Americans talk? Why are you so scared to talk? Just because you work in D.C., just because you work in Congress, just because you're on camera in D.C., why are you scared to talk? Since when are Americans afraid to speak? Because that's what I see in this video. Forget about how you feel about foreign policy. I don't care. Choose however you feel. Why are you afraid to talk as an American?
Excuse me, do you support the war in Iran, brother?
I don't, but I can't.
You can't talk?
I'm on work, so I can't talk.
You're on work? Well, thank you for that, brother. Free Palestine, free Palestine. Excuse me, brother. You look like you have a great future. Don't give that front face, sir. You support the war in Iran? You're a groiper, sir? You look like a groiper, bro. Now he's giggling. You get online and you get kind of sassy sometimes. You like to get sassy online. You sometimes put really, really risky stuff online. Sir? Brother?
So look, I get it. You don't want to be harassed by a person, but it's just talk. Where is this? Why are people so afraid to talk? What's up with that? To me, that's heartbreaking. You as an American should not be afraid to talk. You should not be afraid to share your opinion. There shouldn't be some sort of a fear because you are weary of consequences or blowback or something. I don't like that. This is a chilling effect on speech, and I don't like it. I don't like it when I saw it during the times of COVID. I don't like it when I saw it when Trump got elected. I don't like it when I see it on foreign policy. This chilling effect on free speech is serious. And you know what? It's going to get worse. If we don't start addressing this head on, it's going to get worse. And to a certain degree, it's like I almost am glad that you have these right-wing extremists like a Randy Fine that will come out and just outrightly espouse, pro-violent opinions. Because it's like, good. He has a First Amendment right. It's like, good. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear how you want more death and destruction. Like, tell me what you think. So it's almost a good thing that they're still out there speaking like that because it kind of keeps, it keeps the boundaries a little wider. But that tolerance for speech doesn't go both ways. We don't even understand what's going to happen when this new AI surveillance state really kicks in. The chilling effect on speech, folks, is going to be unbelievable. We have to get ahead of this now. We have to get ahead of this now. And look, it's one thing to disagree with speech. It's one thing to think that, some speech is bad, whatever. You shouldn't be scared to talk. Like, you shouldn't have some sort of an inherent fear that, oh, if I say something, I'm going to get in trouble. That should not be the case. And it seems that is the case now. And once people realize that the AI algorithm is spying on them 24/7 and everything that they say is being recorded and documented and could be used against them, what is it going to be like in 10 to 20 years? People aren't even going to want to talk. You'll be having like secret conversations. You'll be writing notes, like hand notes, because you're afraid if you say what it is you want to say, that there's going to be punishment from the AI government. I don't want to live in an America like that. I think this is a serious issue that needs more coverage and more noise. The chilling effect on free speech in this country, we have got to reverse this, folks. We have to completely remember our culture of speech. Free speech. You should not be afraid to speak. And this idea with people like Rick Scott and others that want this umbrella of a threat against you for certain speech, we have to completely eradicate this from the political conversation. We have to get back to the culture and the spirit and the soul of free speech that both sides, quite frankly, are destroying. Now, right now, it's the right destroying it more than the left. But it was the left for 8 years. Now it's the right. We got to stop this. When I see young men in Washington, D.C. scared to share their opinion on politics, that concerns me. And when you see the fear, when you see that they're scared to even speak, that is tragic. That is tragic. Not as tragic as the reflecting pool, apparently, which is now so covered in algae they're deciding to bleach it. Folks, this is turning into quite a disaster, I've got to say. Trump's team's answer to growing algae problem in the reflecting pool, bleach it. I think it's a mess. I've never seen it this green before. So it's apparently worse than ever. Now, again, somebody predicted this. There was some pool guy who came on and he said, look, the way they're doing this, the algae is going to be worse. And it turned out he was right. I don't know how they run this thing. As you can see in this image, you can see the algae is worse than ever. I mean, the whole pool is green. And I guess the people that were claiming it was sabotage pointed out, well, you can see that this pool is not. Whatever they did, whatever this project they did at the pool, it went the complete wrong way. They, they spent $14 million, so now it's just a wash. Now it's just a wash. So it looks like you're going to have algae in the reflecting pool forever. They're pouring bleach in it, guys. They're pouring bleach in it. Might work, actually, for a moment. You could pour chlorine in it. Chlorine would probably do the trick. But then you might clear up the water if you start treating it like a pool and it won't be reflecting. So, okay, we got algae, guys. We got algae problems. Have you seen this? So people are noticing that I feel like it's always been this way. I don't get these coffee drinks, these specialized sugary coffee drinks. But I feel it's always been they don't really give you much and it's all ice. Well, there's a new trend where customers at Starbucks are taking their special coffees here and they're trying to figure out how much of a drink they actually get versus ice. And so look at this image. I guess this is like the most expensive or the largest coffee drink at Starbucks, and it's less than half actual coffee, less than half. So you can see this image. It's about a third. It's about a third the actual beverage that you're paying for, and then 2/3 ice. And how much does one of these cost? So you're paying it's like $7-8 for about 2 sips of coffee. And I remember the rare times in my life where I've actually gotten one of those goofy, sugary coffee drinks. I remember it's like two drinks and it's gone. And you're like, what the hell? 2 drinks and it's gone. Talk about a ripoff. Don't even bother. If you need energy, just go to crashout.energy. Get yourself some crash out energy. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. All right. Well, maybe some other things. Let's check what else we have in the stack before we go to our super chats. So you got another Toy Story coming out this summer. By the way, so the big summer movies, Toy Story, Scary Movie, and what is the other one? There's another throwback. It's Toy Story, Scary Movie. What's the other one? There's another early 2000s throwback movie that's in theaters this summer. Oh my gosh, this is going to drive me crazy. No, not Minions. Minions came out later. No, it's specifically 3 early 2000s movies. No, Masters of the Universe. That was like the 80s. No. It's Toy Story, Scary Movie. Oh, maybe there's other ones out there too. I see you guys are mentioning some other ones. I didn't even know. I don't want to read some of these in case they're not accurate. But now this is driving me crazy. There's another 2000s movie coming out this summer. Oh, Jackass. Jackass is coming out. I see some of the other movies that are in the chat. If those are coming out, I'll mention them too. Jackass. I'm not even mad. I did see there's apparently an Anaconda remake too. Is that this summer too? I'm not even mad. They're putting out some decent movies. There's some decent movies coming out. And even the Odyssey that they kind of blew up their marketing with the whole Black Helena Troy thing. Even Odyssey is looking like it might be good. But no, we got Jackass, Toy Story, Scary Movie. We're right back in the year 2000. I'm not even complaining, by the way. But I see these hit pieces on Toy Story. They're saying that it's time to stop it. Well, there's plenty of other movie franchises that are probably much worse off. But you know what? I feel like Toy Story is getting a little bit of a disrespect here, actually. I feel Toy Story is being a little disrespected with this coverage. Toy Story 3 was fantastic. Toy Story 4 was not bad either. It's one of the only movie franchises that's put out more than 3 movies that doesn't have one that just sucks. Toy Story, great. Toy Story 2, good. Toy Story 3, great. Toy Story 4, good. High hopes for Toy Story 5. I don't like the disrespect. I'm not appreciating the disrespect for Toy Story here. We're back in the 2000s, guys. We're back in the 2000s. I'm not even mad. What else do we have here? You want to see how much a guy's getting screwed on his mortgage? Is there a Jurassic Park movie this summer? I don't think so. There was last summer, I believe. But speaking of Jurassic Park, how about a Jurassic Park purse? Scientists and fashion brand Enfin Levy just dropped the world's first T-Rex leather bag. A Jurassic Park fantasy comes to life. Bidding starts at $500,000.
Avec lesquels on peut donner des instructions à une culture cellulaire pour construire.
They grew T-Rex skin in a lab. Talk about a scam, but yet you get to say you have a T-Rex purse. I don't know which one. I don't know how I go with this.
En laboratoire de la vraie peau de T-Rex. Et je pensais que c'était pas possible de recréer ça en laboratoire, mais non.
The original dinosaur that skin was recreated in a lab was 67 million years old, and now it is a purse that you can buy in France for $500,000 or more. How much do you think it went for? I'm going to go with, I can't even believe, would somebody really pay $500,000 for that? They would, but I can't believe they did. I don't know. I don't even know what to think. How much do you guys think someone paid for that bag? Take your guesses. Put the guesses in the chat. How much did somebody pay? I've got the number. Oh, see, now that makes more sense. They thought it would get to $500,000. It sold for $150,000. Okay. It sold. They thought they could sell it for $500,000. It sold for $150,000. Would you pay $150,000 for a T-Rex skin bag? It's crazy. This world is crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Speaking of crazy, this guy's mortgage payment is crazy. He's documenting it. Again, this is what Americans are dealing with. A lot of people can relate to this. This is the frustration financially that people are having, and it doesn't seem any costs are going away. It seems that new costs are encroaching on us. New expenses are encroaching on us every day. All the costs are going up as well. This is the pressure, the stranglehold that Americans are under financially. This guy's documenting the craziness of what happens when they change the property tax rate in your county.
So my wife and I bought our house end of 2024. So we've been here for almost a year and a half. And this has been basically our mortgage payment every month, $37.41.72. And just as like a, insight into home ownership, our property taxes recently went up, exactly what it was, but yeah, that's our new amount right there, $45.36. So we went up $750 per month, over $7,000 a year more.
Now, how many of you have actually experienced that firsthand? I have experienced that firsthand. It's insane when it happens. And when you're already in an economy where people's budgets are already very tight, an extra $700 a month can make or break it. And a lot of people are dealing with this. I can't wait till an American politician finally does the right thing and gets rid of property taxes. A lot of Republicans have been talking about it forever. They never do it. Get rid of property taxes. This is outrageous that we have to pay the government for something we already own, something we already paid taxes on. It's total theft. It's outrageous. It's about time one of these fiscally conservative Republicans actually did something about this outrageous tax. Because that's what it is. It is an outrageous tax. Let's see. What else do we have here? Better sex, better hair, better sleep. Human maxing is here. The biotech billionaire who wants to rebuild your body and blow your mind. I love these stories, though. I'm laughing, but I actually love these stories. I love these men that get rich and then dedicate their body to science. Like, what's the guy's name? Brian, is it Brian Wilson is his name? I like this stuff. Human maxing is here. I've been a max maxer for years. I've been promoting max maxing for years. You know what's funny about, is it Brian Wilson, guys? What's the guy's name? It's Brian something. It's bothering me now. You know what's so funny, though? Human nature, biochemistry is so overwhelming. Brian Johnson, thank you, guys. Human nature and biology is so overwhelming. And I feel like Brian Johnson, of all the different stuff that he tried to prove, like whatever, all the different stuff that he was doing, dedicating his body to science, all of the different stuff he was doing, you know what he ultimately ended up proving, guys? He ended up proving that human biology wins out. Because what happened? He meets some young woman. He falls in love with some young girl. And now apparently they're just, doing it 24/7, and he's kind of abandoned. He's like not as dedicated as he was to the mission. I mean, there it is. That's what it proved. At the end of the day, biochemistry and human biology wins. And you can have all the plans in the world, and you can have an entire hard schedule for your day to extend your life, because that's what it was all about. He had a very rigid schedule every day, committed to all this stuff to extend his life. And then the woman comes along, and all of a sudden nothing else matters. It's kind of a beautiful love story, actually, isn't it? Maybe it gives you hope. Maybe it gives you hope that there's still romance out there. There's still love to be found out there. Overwhelming love, crippling love. Biochemistry wins again. And so now he's doing scientific experiments. Excuse me. It's true. He's doing scientific experiments on if it's safe or not to go down on his girlfriend. They're doing scientific experiments on her womanhood area. And then he's deciding whether it's safe for him to go down on her that night or not. That's where they're at. The commitment to science continues, despite the distraction. You gotta say though, it is a bit of a love story. I have to say, I enjoyed it. I think it's funny, and it just shows you. It's just some things are inevitable. Some things you just cannot defeat. And biology, it happens to be one of them. She got him. I think he's given up, guys. I think he's given up. He's found love, at least for the moment, at least for now. The mission has been aborted. There's a new mission. And it's also going to be scientific studied the whole time as well. But also, doesn't it show that life isn't for existing. Life is for living. Life isn't about just staying around. Life is for living and loving and laughing. That's what he really ultimately ended up proving, isn't it? I feel so. All right, quickly, something here. This is funny before we go to our super chats here. So Tom Brady has a new product out. It's coconut water. Okay. It's coconut water, and the name of the water is Good Nut. Some of you will get the reference, some won't. So just go with the flow. Here's Tom Brady and his new commercial for Good Nut.
Are you launching another celebrity seltzer brand?
No, I'm launching a brand new coconut water. It's actually really good.
Oh, what's it called?
So we called coconut farmers in Vietnam for this one, which, when you care about ingredients, it's kind of a huge deal.
No, not who you called. What's it called?
You called me!
Okay, just tell me what it's called, Tom.
When you have a product this good, it doesn't matter what it's called, okay?
Yeah, it kind of does.
That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny, I gotta say. All right. I think that's enough. I think that's enough of the show content for the day. I've been holding on to this Dave Rubin thing for a minute, though. Maybe we should just get this off the docket, this Dave Rubin. So Dave Rubin goes on Jubilee and, kind of gets embarrassed a little bit, quite frankly, by the radical lefties. Let's take a look at Dave Rubin on Jubilee. And I told you this was the new case. I told you it was now MAGA that's going to be, it's no longer own the libs, it's own the MAGA cult. And so now Jubilee has taken a twist after Rubin's appearance.
The war's over.
No, it's
what do you mean?
Very much.
There's
no.
By the way, this was a month ago, by the way. So the context is kind of destroyed because I sat on it for too long. But this was a month ago when the war was still going on. So here we are a month after they shot this in the war. We're trying to finish it now.
The war is over. The war's over.
No, it's
what do you mean?
Very much.
There's
no.
a ceasefire. There's not one Israeli in Gaza. The hostages are home.
Trump made several campaign promises to his voters that he hasn't come through on, and yet we continue to hear you guys bootlick him all the time. And it's very frustrating
the
to me that
topic
you're not
is the modern
holding...
left cares more about ideology.
Yeah, and I disagree with the claim.
Yeah.
I think that the modern right cares more about ideology. I mean,
What
Let's
is
look
that
at
ideology?
let's look at some of the things that Trump ran on, right?
Yeah.
He ran on an America First campaign, and then he bombs Venezuela. Then he doesn't end the war in Israel, even though he promised he was going to do that. He
What do you
starts
mean?
a
The war is
conflict.
over. The war's over.
No, it's
what do you mean?
very much.
There's
no.
a ceasefire. There's not one Israeli in Gaza. The hostages are home. There's a reconstruction
that is
that's beginning.
absolutely not true.
What
That
do
is fundamentally false.
Wait, you're saying there are hostages in Gaza right now, and the war is continuing.
The
right
conflict has continued. Yes,
Yeah.
there have continued to be bombs.
now?
And moving
they're
on.
bombing Gaza right now. That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not.
I mean, I know
that's
you
not
get your
true.
news from
That's not
Grok,
true.
but like this
Yeah.
is a fact that is continuing to happen. So he promises to be America.
I really don't understand where the logic is from Rubin here that the war was over. It obviously isn't over. This was a month ago. It's still on. We're still trying to negotiate a peace deal. But I feel like what they do is they play these games of semantics where they like to try to categorize everything. So it's like, depending on what category you're talking about, is the war over or not? It's like, well, has a hostage been returned? Okay, so it's over. Well, are there still bombs dropping? Yeah, but those bombs are dropping. That's a different war. So you see, it's like they have to kind of categorize everything. So when bombs are dropping in Lebanon, that's a different war than when bombs are dropping in Iran. Or if bombs are dropping in Palestine, that's different than when bombs are dropping in Lebanon. Or if the fighting is happening in Syria, that's different when it's happening in Iran. So really, there's like 7 different wars happening. But then they pick and choose. It's like, well, you're talking about this war, not that war. And so they just say, well, there is no war, even though it's constant war. So anyway, I don't want to play the whole thing here. It goes on for a minute, but Rubin, kind of talks himself into a trap. And then this is where it gets funny. So after Dave goes on Jubilee and kind of gets smacked around, it's like the whole purpose is you're supposed to sit up there as the authority in the political debate and just go round for round with these people and knock them all out. It's like, that's the Jubilee challenge. And instead, Rubin gets up there and he got slapped around. So he was so traumatized. He was so traumatized by getting smacked around by a bunch of far left liberals. He had to go on the Jillian Michaels show and he had to complain about how it was like he was threatened. His life was threatened.
And I honestly believe several of them would have killed me if given the opportunity, truly. And you all know my guy Joey, who works for me, and he said to me after, he said, Dave, I made a choice halfway through that if one of them was going to attack you, I was going to get involved. Because that's the level of tension. Like, I could feel the daggers coming at me. The ones that mostly they had horrible scowls on their faces, but the ones that smiled at me actually seemed like the most dangerous because they were like Joker smiles.
And the weird Joker smiles, it was so distracting and so unpleasant. You can't have discourse. I don't know how you pulled it off.
Truly,
he didn't pull it off. That's the problem. He didn't pull it off. And I wonder if that's the same Joker smile that he gives him and his husband's boys that they adopted. I wonder if that's the same Joker smile that the adopted boys get.
To sit around 20 people that have nothing but hatred for you, like there wasn't even I tried my best. I kind of didn't want to do it because I've just been through enough versions of the internet and dealt with the hate and the whatever. My team really wanted me to do it. I was like, you know what? I'll do it. Whatever. It's not a big deal. I tried to say, I'll show you a little respect to start this thing. They offered nothing for 2 hours and 55 minutes. I think I did a very nice job. I did have one blip moment where I kind of blanked on something, and I fully grant that.
David, that sounds ridiculous.
That's hilarious. Oh, the poor guy. The poor guy had to do a political debate and lost to a bunch of radical libs. And he goes crying. He goes crying to a podcast. Oh, they wanted to kill me. It was so hard. It was so difficult. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. This is the pussification of MAGA. This stuff is ridiculous, man. We used to go out into throngs. We used to go out into hordes of anti-Trump radical leftists. And this was when they were truly radical. I mean, this is at the peak of their violent radicalism. And we used to go into these crowds with Trump hats and shirts on a bullhorn. And you're going to sit here and cry about a podcast? You're going to sit here and bitch and moan? Oh, my gosh, I had to debate him. It was so hard. Oh, my God. Ugh. Pathetic. Pathetic. That's why it's so laughable. That's why this whole new MAGA thing is so laughable. It's like, you guys are such pussies. I'm sorry. You just are. You just are. It's pathetic. But hey, guys, that had to be tough, you know? I do feel for Dave. To go on a podcast and get beat in a debate by radical leftists, that's got to be tough. I mean, let's be honest. That's got to be tough. It's kind of like an honorary crash out of the day. Dave Rubin, an honorary crash out of the day, crashing out He was oh my gosh, they were coming right at him. His life was in danger. Dave Rubin, it's an honorary crash out of the day, brought to you by crashout.energy. Honorary. Not quite official, but it gets a mention. It's an honorable mention. He's crashing out about that. He felt so threatened, guys. It was brutal. Just brutal stuff. All right, let's go to our super chats, as we do before we sign off every day here. Starting off, Billy Cardano. Owen, if for whatever reason you couldn't broadcast, what would be your chosen profession? You seem like a fellow blue-collar guy to me. If I wasn't in media, let's just expand that to just media, because there's a bunch of other things you can do in broadcast media without broadcasting. So we'll just take the entire broadcast media out of the question. I've been doing this for so long, I don't even know. At this point, it's like I've been doing this. I don't know any other life. I don't know. I feel like I like youth development. I like youth development. I've done that. I'm just going to, anything media, entertainment related, I'm just going to not going to count. I'm just going to, any of that stuff, I'm just going to assume we're going to count that as broadcasting. I feel like I would have, I would get sick of it fast. I know I would get sick of it fast. But I feel like everybody has an itch. Some people, maybe not everybody. I feel like a lot of people have this itch. They just want to try to be a bartender one time. I'd like to try my hand at bartending. I don't think I could last. I don't think I could do it very long. I think I could do it for maybe like a month or two before I'm like, okay, I can't deal with this anymore. But I'd like to try it once. I think it would be fun. It'd be an interesting thing, interacting with a bunch of humans, seeing people pour in and out of bars like that on a busy night, like on a game day in Austin. I think that would be fun. So I don't know. I guess I've never really thought about it. Or maybe I should, you guys think I could just maybe go play like in the NBA or something? I'll just go play in the NBA, right? That's totally realistic. Frankie Rios, I don't trust it or him. I'm assuming you're talking about the peace deal and Trump there. Well, I can't blame you for that. A-Rod Blends, is it better to live a meaningful life or a happy one? Well, I guess the goal is both. I guess the goal is to find the balance between both. But I feel like if your life is truly meaningful, that should bring happiness. Maybe not rest, but happiness. People who say Jews bad, whites bad, black bad are the same type of useful idiots who serve the interest of the cabal who needs us divided to remain conquered. Yes. Well, the identity politics is always meant to conquer and divide, compartmentalize, and keep us from uniting with one another. Definitely seeing that in live time. You're still the young Limbaugh, but trust in Trump at this point, not a snowball's chance in Pluto. You're not getting any relief. You don't want to trust? Fine. Totally understand. I'm not here to sell you. I'm not selling you anything. I'm telling you how I feel. But you're telling me you're not getting any sense of relief from the neocons panicking today? Honestly? You have no sense of satisfaction watching the neocons and the Israeli lobbyists in absolute panic today? None at all? This doesn't give you, not your meter of hope isn't even like bouncing a little? All right, that's fine. Mine is. I'm not here to sell you. I'm not here to tell you, but for me, it's little action. Miss Anita, is it just me, or do you think Trump would have raised an objection to the foreign first lady being called a man on national TV rather than an American? I'm trying to understand the question here. Trump would have raised an objection to a foreign first lady being called a man. Okay. You're talking about Candace Owens and Brigitte Macron. Okay, I see where you're going. I was searching for the context of it. Now I got you. Okay. Well, Trump did scold Candace Owens for saying that about Brigitte Macron, but Candace has not scolded. Trump has not scolded. Trump did scold Candace. Trump has not scolded. What is the fighter's name? Moritz or something like that? I forget the guy's name. He's done that before. There's this huge push. all the corporate sponsors for UFC guys, they're all getting calls today to denounce whatever that guy's name is. I don't know the name. If you guys have it, I'll pull over my my chat here. I don't know the guy's name. I really don't follow UFC, but you guys know his name. It's like Morit or something like that. He won the fight, and Trump did not scold anybody that called Michelle Obama a man, but Trump did scold Candace Owens for calling Brigitte Macron a man. So I think that kind of answers your question. So I'm thinking maybe it was a bit facetious. Bloodlust has turned them feral. Seriously, I'm telling you, the psychological analysis of this stuff is really amazing to me. I'm not that truly is it's a spectacle to watch. It's like, what is driving this? How did you get to this point? How do you accomplish such a psychological state of entitlement, victimhood, superiority, and zero self-awareness? How do you possibly have all of these things coexisting in your psychology at the same time? Because you do. And it's an amazing thing to watch. Dust Volt, I can't with the liberal MSM calling Trump weak for making the same deal that Iran that Obama made, that they fawned over and drooled over for Obama. You know, that's interesting, because the right wing is ripping Trump for doing a deal like Obama. And then the left wing is ripping Trump for doing a deal like Obama when they praised Obama. Again, this is why we have to get the hell out of the Middle East. There is no winning there. There is nothing but loss in the Middle East. There is nothing but death and destruction for us in the Middle East. I don't even want to bother looking for the logical consistency. The whole thing is a damn trap. The whole thing is out of control. Just get the hell out. They won't stop until stopped. Well, and that's why we just need to get out. That's why we just have to say, we're done. We're out. You're all Nazis. Micro Mark. Oh, can you imagine Mark Levin's crash out today? Folks, I guarantee you, Mark Levin, there will be Mark Levin clips surfacing tonight. I don't know if they'll be from me. There will be Mark Levin clips surfacing tonight of him crashing out over this deal. I guarantee that. Pay very close attention to the people who would rather let the country burn in order to hurt Trump. Well, we've seen a lot of that. And I guess maybe it goes both ways. Do you think the Samson option blackmail is real? If so, why didn't Israel use it to get Obama and Bush to bomb Iran? Fair questions. We hear a lot about it. But that's ballsy. To say you're going to do something like that is pretty ballsy. So it could be real, but maybe it's still a bluff. Emily Cheray. Hey, Owen, big fan. If you found out your executive producer and the guy who named your show was a PDF file, would you change the name of your show? I feel that there's some context needed here, but I would probably say yeah. I don't know what direction this is going or what you're trying to insinuate here. I would say yeah, probably. What are we referencing here, though, Emily? I'm searching for the meaning here, and we got it with Anita. I'm missing it with Emily. Why are the women in here trying to stump me today? Why are the women in here throwing riddles at me today? Who could this be? Maybe she'll come back. Maybe she'll circle back for me, Emily. I'm missing it, Emily. You've tricked me. You've stumped me. War is peace. Is that official policy now? Drebe, why do we only hear about one agenda and not others? That's right. I think you know the answer. I think we've thoroughly answered the question. A-Rod Blends, where is your stance on the death of Charlie Kirk? That's a heavy one for $1.99, A-Rod. But I've addressed this before, and I'll say it again since you asked. I don't believe the official narrative, and that's pretty much where I'm at. That's all I'm really comfortable in committing to right now. I don't believe the official narrative. I'm interested to see what other points of evidence or proof they have to try to convince somebody like me of the official narrative. I don't see how they could do it at this point. But I'm willing to wait and see what happens in the trial and see if they will. But, you know, the judge basically came out in one of the recent proceedings and said there is no more evidence. So, but I'm willing to wait. I don't want to, I've talked about this a lot. I covered it a lot in the outset. And then I said, look, this thing has turned into a toxic sludge situation. Just touching it, you're going to get, you know, you're going to get that toxic touch. So I've just kind of been avoiding the toxicity of it all, but I don't believe the official narrative. I'd like to see them try to convince me of the impossible. I'm not sure they can or will. Let's see what happens in the trial. But to me, at this point, the official narrative is impossible. I don't buy it. Let's wait and see what happens in the aftermath. Revenge of the Sis. I realized we got mixed up with the time zones, so we are stream sniping you. All right, well, what do we want to do here? So we're doing this live on air. Stream sniping me. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Royce from Revenge of the Sis. I was supposed to go on with them after this transmission, and there was a time zone confusion. They're on the East Coast. And there was a time zone confusion, and I think that they thought I was speaking at 6 o'clock Eastern, and I was speaking at 6 o'clock Central when I got off the show. So I think their stream actually just ended. So we'll have to try to reschedule that. The problem is if you're both on at the same time, you know, it becomes an issue. Revenge of the Sis, guys. Give them a follow. Big fans of the show over there. Great guys, good friends of the show. But don't know how to read a clock. Don't know how to tell time. That's all right. We still love them. We're going to work on that. Maybe we can do a lesson live on the air about time zones. But Mersh and Royce, we'll get it done. You know what's so funny? It's just so true in media. And these are my friends. It's so damn hard, especially when you do a show every day and a 3-hour show every day. It's so hard to do all the different shows, and you try your best, even when it's somebody that you talk to regularly. It's like you still. We have been trying to do this interview now for how long? Like months, and it's you know, it's all right. We'll get it done. Don't worry about it. Tay, isn't Laverne Cox a trans drag queen? Yes. Yeah. How did you know that though? That's weird. Co-create with me. Owen, the Me Too movement turned into Me 3 thruple. What? When did that happen? Why wasn't I invited? I wasn't aware of this. Tay, you heard Dick Scott and Ye Tampa from me first. Yeah, now he's going public. He's making the statements. Maybe I need to go to a Ye. Maybe I need to go to a Ye show. Maybe that's what I'll make my way up to Chicago. Man, I don't know what it was today. I was thinking about Chicago. Forget that something happened today. I was thinking about Chicago, how I want to get back up there, how I miss it. So awesome. Maybe it was the Ye show. Or is he going to do it? Is he going to do it at Soldier Field? I'd consider going to it. I'm going to Soldier Field this year. I want to go to Soldier Field before they have the last season and ticket prices go crazy and everything else. So I want to go to Soldier Field one more time before they move the team. Maybe for a Ye show. I conduct Facebook marketplace transactions at sheriff's office. Smart. Yeah. If you're going to do a Facebook transaction, do it at the police station. Good move. Genius even. Oh, and it's time to bring back the House of Un-American Activities Committee. HUAC starts with all of us in here daily. Yes. Bring back HUAC. I can't remember if it was Wilcow or if it was Savage. But it was one of those two. It's either Andrew Wilcow or Michael Savage has been saying we need to bring back UAC for years. For years they've been saying that. But you can't do that and have AIPAC run Congress. See what I mean? Love Charlie Kirk, dislike what TPUSA has become. I think that was the message from the former employee that the video we played earlier. Employee strong for life. Where there is pain, there is life. Where there is life, there is hope. Where there is hope, the cause is never fruitless. I'm glad to be here with you all in these very interesting days. Thank you. Thank you. Very well said. Nick Fuentes most likely goes to Yay Chicago September. Well, he's doesn't he have a relationship with Yay? I mean, he should be able to get like a backstage pass or something. And, and all the good favor that Yay has earned with Jewish Americans will be thrown away with one invite of Nick Fuentes. Would he do it? I mean, it's almost like, what difference does it make? After everything he's done to apologize, and Rick Scott comes out and says, I want to ban you from Florida. So it's just like, what difference does it make? It's never enough for these people. Never apologize to the mob. Poso said he saw a leftist shoot Charlie Kirk like 6 times a day. That's a blatant lie, not to mention his Epstein binder photo. F that guy. Wolfie. Hey, look. I'm okay with disagreeing with people and remaining amicable. I've always explained how that's very important to me, okay? And if I disagree with something on Posobiec, that doesn't mean I can't get along with them. In fact, that's very natural. That's very normal. The binder thing was a setup, whatever you want to say about that. All I'm saying is the original MAGA coalition is not going to be broken up by these neocons. Now, they can break us from Trump and effectively have, but that's Trump's doing. But the people that were with Trump 2015, 16, and 17 that actually went through it all and dealt with the censorship and everything else, and the people that got arrested, you're not going to break that coalition. That's just not going to happen. And it doesn't matter, we're not in a cult. We don't need to think and say the same thing about everything. That's the difference here. Owen, your Croatian is not bad for a newbie. We could work on it. Hit me up for some pro bono lessons. Sounds like a pretty good offer. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how I would hit you up, though. H1 Byron Donalds can't spell achievability. You mean it's not achievability? Man, who botched that deal? Good God. They have insured people value belongings and stuff more than fundamentals of life and liberty. They have fear over faith. They got it backwards. A lot of that going on in the superficial world. Cody Lee Galen, pronounced Galleon. Galleon? Galleon. Became Galleon after 1776 war. Interesting. It sounds like we have a similar situation. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check the records, but they did change. I think the Schroyer name changed when the Schraders got here from Germany in the 1600s, I think is when they switched to Schroyer. But that might have also happened after 1776 too. I'd have to go back and review those family documents that my great aunt once had. I don't know where they are now. She's no longer with us. Told that story before. You're what we call a heritage American, friend. Iron Lunatic. It's kind of crappy watching the World Cup and not seeing some of my favorite players like Diego Forlan from Uruguay. Feels very Gen Z. Well, these guys are all old now. What do you expect? How many years can Forlan play in the World Cup? The best ones get like 3, maybe 4. So it's just, that's just how it goes when it's a 4-year tournament every 4 years. I've been very happy. The goals, the one thing, the goals have not been that great. It's not been the most impressive goal scoring phenomenon this World Cup. I think it was the World Cup 2 years ago that was just unreal. The goals that they were scoring in the World Cup 2 years ago, I think that was South Africa maybe, or Russia, whichever one, I don't remember, but those goals were unbelievable. It was like every day there was some unreal goal, one after the other. This one, the goals have been rather... there have been some special ones, but, they've been rather mundane. Panda, happy you're still here and making us laugh. Well, I'm glad we can do that. Glad to be here making you laugh. Hit the like and subscribe button to the leader in truth. Thank you, Owen Jones Schroyer. Yes, guys, please give us a follow. Give us a like on YouTube. That really helps grow the show. Very meaningful. I appreciate that. Rip Harambe. Wifey, what are we doing? Is it the anniversary of Harambe or something? Am I missing something? What are you women doing today? You're all playing mind games with me. What do you think this is? King of Adal. The fancy sugary coffee drinks are basically just a coffee-flavored milkshake. I just need a real blackout coffee and maybe some half and half. I don't put anything in my coffee. I find it gross. I feel it ruins the coffee experience for me. Honestly. I don't understand the people that load it up with the cream and the sugar. I don't get it. It's too much. Very unhealthy. All the emulsifiers. You know, by the way, it's so frustrating. I'm reading the ingredients. I'm at the grocery store this morning. I'm reading the ingredients on some stuff. The most underrated, the most underappreciated aisle at the grocery store is the serve yourself aisle. I don't know what they call it, but it's the aisle where they have everything in like the plastic containers and you go scoop it, you put it into a bag, you print your label. Like that is the best. It's like the best aisle in the grocery store. I love the variety. So I'm in there. I'm like, I'm looking for something chocolatey. I'm looking for a little chocolatey treat. And I'm looking at the ingredients, and all of them have emulsifiers in them. And look, is a tiny little bit of an emulsifier going to kill me? Probably not. But we know it's a carcinogen. We know all the negative health effects. I'm like, why? Why do you have to put an emulsifier in a chocolate? Why? Why do we do this? They put it in everything. There's other things we can put in it. Where's Maha on emulsifiers? Maha is behind the game. Maha is way behind the game on emulsifiers, folks. And as far as the real sugary drinks from your, coffee shops, I'm sure those are filled with emulsifiers. Not good. Alex McCarthy with us today. Algae and stinky pond scum. Yeah, that's the DC reflection pool. Also, can you spill the deets on the meaning of the good nut name? I'm itching to understand. Well, it's obviously just a high-quality coconut. What it is. Very high-quality coconut. No hidden meaning, no innuendo, no conspiracy, no comedic value. It's just a singular, high-quality coconut that we're going to make a drink from. That's all it is. No need to read any further into it. No need to look for the innuendo, the hidden language, the hidden meaning. But you know what's funny? I think that most people probably wouldn't get it. It's funny that Tom Brady gets it because it seems like it's a little old for him. The joke's a little old for him, but he seems to get it. He's branding it that way. You're on your own, McCarthy. I used to be afraid to speak. Not anymore. IDGAF. Yeah, I can tell. You've been getting lippy lately. I can confirm. Mego Von Villen, I hope you take calls tomorrow so I can call and read all my exceptionally witty super chats that YouTube wouldn't let me send. They're so good. Mego wants to call tomorrow, guys. That's a demand from the audience that we may have to abide. The dude may have to abide on that, Mego. Mego makes a request. She might get what she asked for. Thank you, Owen. Appreciate you. From Zool. Thank you. Oh, Zool. Right out of Ghostbusters and into the super chats. Unbelievable. 24-hour ban on woman super chats. No, we're going to keep them. We're going to study them. You look cute when you're confused. Is that what it is? Uh-huh. Now the truth comes out. See? It's human biology. It all comes down to it. Biochemistry, human biology, it all comes out. It always wins out every single time by design. There's your proof. Since you like Tool, I'm an Owens Angel for life. Big ups to Wifey Angel. Love you, boo. Love you, Owen. Wow. Lot of love in the room today. Isn't it nice, guys? Isn't it nice? Very good. Owens Angels. What a bunch. What an elite squad. Owen Report. Rumors circulating Buck Carlson coming on soon. I think there's some potential with Buckley in the future. Yeah. I don't know where these rumors are coming from. but old Buckley and I might have exchanged a note or two. We'll see if that can be arranged. Emily, the guy whose show was named by a pedophile is Shuli Egar. He found out his producer was a PDF, refuses to change name. Ask Mersh when you talk to him. Is that something that they've been covering? I am totally out of the loop on this. You're scooping me with all of this. Whenever I do go on with them, I guess I can bring that up. Maybe they'll scoop me on that. But I am unaware. I am unaware of these developments, Emily. You know of Wifey is a dude, right? Sam White. Well, you know, Wifey, there you go. People think you're a dude, so what are you going to do? What is your response? How will you respond to these allegations? How will you prove that these allegations about you are inaccurate? Because there they are. They've been made. They've been read live on the show. They can't be taken back. It's over. Hey, by the way, before we sign off, a couple minutes here, if anybody else wants to squeeze one in. I've been very pleased with the World Cup so far as America's hosting of it. Very pleased. Great job. Very, very proud of it. The people that are traveling here are loving it. They're loving our country. They're having a great time. That brings joy to my heart. They are playing a game, the first game in Kansas City today. Man. Look, there's no doubt with these new stadiums and all the technology and everything that they've done to build them, there's no doubt they can put on a show. I mean, there's no doubt when you look at the optics from some of these images coming out of the World Cup in Los Angeles, in these new stadiums, just amazing stuff. I mean, there's no denying it. It looks awesome. They've really done a great job with everything. But there's something about the classic stadium, something about seeing Arrowhead all drawn up for the World Cup with the logos everywhere and the new graphics and everything. Something about seeing Arrowhead Stadium in the World Cup presentation is like magical. There's something magic about that. Again, I called it's like the soul of the stadium. It feels right. It feels more classical. So having these new stadiums host a bunch of these games and doing the fun stuff with the optics and the technology and everything. But man, I wish they would have done the final game in like just a classic stadium. Just a classic stadium that has a soul, has a spirit to it. It's like you can feel it. It's like an old battlefield. These new stadiums, they just don't have that. Again, it's a great presentation. The fans are loving it. These stadiums are great. Don't get me wrong. But there's just like, man, if imagine the World Cup final at Arrowhead Stadium. I mean, there's something just extra badass about that. It's almost like this is the last opportunity that you're going to get to probably play a World Cup soccer game in a classical traditional stadium. Just a classical bowl stadium without all the TVs and graphics and flashing lights and LED boards and noises and stereos and everything. It's like this could be the last time that a World Cup game could ever be played at just a classic traditional stadium like Arrowhead. And there's just something special about that. Something special about that. But I think that might be it. I mean, from here on out, all of the stadiums from here on out, they're all going to be new. They're all going to be all fancy and swanky and videos and graphics and flashing lights everywhere. To me, it just takes away from part of the experience. But that's probably because I'm an old man now. That's probably just me, an old man, talking. Wifey claps back. Tell him I am not a dude. Thanks. It's not my job. You defend yourself here, woman. Jordan Walker, what's the starfish looking like? Still same. What are we doing here, bud? What are we doing here? Well, I don't even know what you say to something like that. Other than Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water is maybe the greatest album ever. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know what you say to something like that. Am I a Chiefs or a Rams fan? It depends. Depends what week it is and who I'm betting on. I have no loyalties. The only teams that still kind of tug at my heartstrings are the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Blues. I kind of like the Battlehawks, the St. Louis Battlehawks, I guess, but it's not really affecting me. I still have a little bit of the Blues and the Cardinals can still hit me in the feels a little bit. Other than that, whoever I'm betting on. So I'm not, Chiefs, Rams, I don't know. Who am I betting on? Actually, I like the Rams. When the Rams signed Myles Garrett, I put money down on them to win the Super Bowl. I forget what the return on that is. So I guess I'm a Rams fan. There you go. There's your answer. I'm a big Rams fan. Go Rams. Go Rams. Go all the way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's transmission. To our friends over at Revenge of the Sis, we'll get this figured out. We'll get on with you guys. That's going to do it for today. We're going to take a 21-hour break. Same time, same channel tomorrow. Maybe we will take the calls. I'm the problem. I sit here and I just aggregate news all day, and then I have to cover the news. I can't do it. Stephen Cross, late super chat. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do calls tomorrow. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you, everybody. Love you. God bless. Godspeed. Hope I see you tomorrow.